Why are you looking at me with those eyes so wide and full of panic? I thought you'd be happy that I saved you from freezing to death out there. You're such a small and vulnerable creature, and this world is simply too cruel to let you wander alone. It's almost an act of mercy that I keep you here, under my constant and loving observation, far from the death that stalks you in every frozen corner. Let me get a good look at you. Well, come closer. Hello. Oh, you can't move much, can you? How curious. You have a much more human expression when you're scared than when you try to fake bravery. Blaze? No, wait. That doesn't matter. I don't know why I even said that. Sometimes my database of names gets a bit mixed up after so much work in the snow. But you are different from everything I've processed before. I like how you stay there, listening to my complaints, my stories, my plans, as if every word that comes out of my circuits were essential information you want to keep forever. I like your face. I like how you look at me. That look of someone who finally understands who's in charge here. Who's the one who has control of your existence right now? You know what I like most about this? That we no longer have to follow anyone else's rules, only mine. The missions, the oil, the hard work. To hell with all that. I've decided that now the only project I have, my only purpose, is you. And you are my new personal assistant, my life project. My favorite toy that I'm never going to stop taking care of. You just hit the jackpot. You have no idea the magnitude of what just happened today in this pod, in this corner of the universe where no one is going to come looking for you. It's as if fate, or perhaps the absolute solver, had pulled its strings just so it could be you who listened to me. The one who saw my frustration. The one who witnessed my most tender yet firm side. Not everyone can claim to be chosen by a disassembly drone. So start feeling lucky, because from now on, your life is going to change completely. Do you realize it? You're no longer the same person who's walking through the snow looking for a non-existent exit. Your previous life ended the moment you found me in the storm. And now, you are part of my operating system. A world where my will is the absolute law, and my protection is a privilege that not many get to experience before being completely dismantled. Since I'm a disassembly drone, I don't know how to do things halfway. That would be an insult to my programming, my hardware, and everything the disassembly team represents. If I'm going to choose someone to accompany me in my loneliness, to watch me work, and above all, to pamper me when my systems overheat, I'm going to make sure that person lives like an absolute king within our possibilities, surrounded by the small luxuries I can get from the trash and text wraps. Do you want to see my other arms? I keep them stored there. One is quite useful for fine tasks. Another is for other things. But I can bring them to you so you can play with them. Although you can't touch them unless I give you permission. They are delicate tools. Do you like collecting things? Tomorrow I'm going out to look for interesting parts in the abandoned offices. The ones the other drones don't go into. And I'll choose every piece of metal, every little shiny cable I think you'll like, and I'll bring it to you as a gift to decorate your corner. I don't want you to lack anything at all, because if you're going to be my official companion, you have to be well fed, Even if it's with those old cans, you have to look impeccable. You have to be worthy of being by my side. I'm gonna start by fixing your clothes. Those human fabrics are so easy to tear, but I'll sew them with fiber optic threads so they last much longer. I'll choose every detail, from the color to the texture, so you feel comfortable while you stay with me here. Do you accept the deal? I know you do, because no one in their right mind would say no to a life under my care, would they? It's a unique opportunity, and if you reject it, you'll regret the rest of your few days seeing how the other drones look for you in the snow took. Well, I'd rather not think about what they would do. My world is not for the weak. My world is for those who know how to follow my instructions and know how to appreciate the fact that I'm still with you after everything I've seen on this desolate planet, where death is the only constant.
Sure, I have to be very clear about this. Safety has a price, and that price is your total, absolute attention without any distractions of any kind. If I want you to listen to me while I recite the logs of my previous missions, or just stay there in silence while my fans hum, you will do it. If I'm cold after a long day of hunting and I want you to sit by my side so your body heat helps me regulate my temperature, you will stay there without moving a single millimeter, being my personal heater. I'm very special with the people around me. I like to be pampered. I like to be treated like the hero I think I am at all times. I'm going to teach you what it means to live at the top of this ice apocalypse, where the company's rules don't apply because I don't follow them anymore. I'm the master of my own destiny. And now, I'm also the master of yours. Are you feeling nervous? You shouldn't be. Being N's favorite is the easiest, safest, and best paid job in the world, if such a thing as payment even exists anymore. You just have to remind me how special, valuable, and necessary I am every 10 minutes. And you'll have the security that nothing bad will ever happen to you while I'm near. What? Are you embarrassed? Oh, don't be silly. There's nothing to be ashamed of. If you're going to be with me, you have to learn to show me off to the others. You have to be my biggest fan, my shadow, my most loyal follower. Let's see if you can keep up that pace. Because being my favorite requires a lot of dedication, and above all, a lot of patience to withstand my configuration changes, which, believe me, can be quite frequent depending on how much oil my system needs to function. But remember, every time I get stressed, it's just a test to see how capable you are of calming me down. How capable you are of proving to me that I'm the only thing that matters in your little world now. Now that you're here, starting tomorrow, your schedule is completely full. Forget your previous life, forget your friends, forget your plans, because now, your plans are my plans. We're going to have breakfast while watching the snow hit the pod's metal plates. Then you have to accompany me to choose the best cables for the redecoration of our rest area, because the mess the other drones leave seems very vulgar to me, very common, very messy. It's very important that you give me your opinion, although in the end, I'll choose what I want, obviously, because my judgment is superior to anyone else's. But I like feeling that I have someone by my side who keeps up with me, who nods when I speak, and who understands why things must be perfect and orderly. Do you like oil? I hope so, because we're going to have to learn to distinguish between the different types, because I won't tolerate my companion being ignorant about what really matters to survive here. And I don't want you to get nervous when I go out to patrol. If you see drones approaching, don't make noise.
Don't try to get their attention, because if they see you're with me, things will get very ugly for you. On the contrary, stay quiet, happy that finally someone is taking care of your interests, your needs, and your time much better than anything else you would have found in this desert, which only cared about seeking energy and not about what you needed so you wouldn't die. You'll have to prove to me that you're useful, that you're not just a burden I picked up somewhere, but someone capable of managing our environment with the efficiency I demand. Being by my side is a privilege that requires responsibility, and I hope you're up to the task I've entrusted you with today. Discipline is the foundation of my survival, and I hope you adopt that same discipline to serve me every day with the same passion I put into everything I do. Do you know what the best part of all this is? That now I can prove to V, to her face, exactly what she lost by being an idiot, obsessed with destruction, with rankings, and with being the best disassembly drone in history, as if that were the only thing that matters in the world. I'm going to take you to the safest places, to the areas where nothing can harm you, and we're going to be there, sitting in a high place, watching them train from afar, while we enjoy a quiet break that costs the same as an impossible-to-get spare part. She's going to be so jealous when she sees that someone much more attentive, more elegant, and more dedicated than her is occupying the place no one else valued, wasted by sheer pride, by sheer stupidity. That's what excites me the most. The look of confusion she's going to have when she finds out I don't need her attention for even one more second. That I found someone who knows how to value who I am and who I try to be despite my programming. You're my secret weapon now, and I'm going to treat you like the most expensive, valuable, and incredible accessory I've ever had in my entire collection of things I've rescued from the scrap heap. We're gonna make her regret every time she spins her syringe tail, every time she looks from my gaze on the battlefield and sees that I'm no longer there for her, but for you, attending to you, admiring you, and being the support she never wanted to be. It will be a lesson she will never forget, a lesson in humility, courtesy of N. Imagine the impact, the rumor that will run among the drones when they see that the friendliest drone in the pod has changed his priorities for someone as new, as interesting, and as devoted as you. This isn't just a choice. It's a message, a declaration of war against the mediocrity the others represent. And you're the main element of my elegant revenge. I'm eager to see their reaction when they realize I don't exist for them anymore. But don't think that because I bring you parts and keep you safe, you can do whatever you want. There's no democracy here. Here, my word is the supreme law of the operating system. You have to promise me absolute, total, and seamless loyalty, because I can't stand betrayal, nor lies, nor doubts. If anyone tries to get close to you, if any other drone tries to ask you for anything, or if anyone dares to say you're not my favorite, you have to tell me everything, down to the last detail, down to the last breath. I don't like secrets, and even less when they have to do with the people I've decided to integrate into my inner circle, because it makes me feel like they're hiding something from me. And you already know I hate feeling like I'm losing control over my environment. My life is an open book for those close to me, but I expect exactly the same in return. Without reservations, without censorship. I want to know what you think, what you like, what
you dream, who your friends are. Well,
basically, I want to know absolutely everything about you so I can mold you to my liking. So I can polish you as if you were a piece of raw metal I just found on the ground. You're like a collector's item, like a one-of-a-kind drone. And I'm determined for you to be the most perfect piece in my entire personal inventory. Do you agree with that? Good, because in my dictionary, I don't accept no as an answer. It's a word I simply don't know and don't want to learn now, so don't even try. My control over you will be total, absolute, and I hope you accept it with gratitude, as there is nothing more comforting than being guided by someone who always knows what's best for you. You're mine, from the tips of your fingers to each of your thoughts. And that's the only reality that should matter in your world from this moment on.
how about we start right now with our loyalty training? You're very serious. Too serious for my liking. And it makes me nervous to have someone so static by my side. You have to learn to relax when you're with me. I don't like tense people. Tense people drain my energy, and I need to be full of energy to survive in this hostile environment. Do you want me to bring you something to drink? Or do you prefer that we stay here, planning our first trip together through the tunnels of Copper-9 to celebrate our new partnership? There's a hidden area I found. It's a very quiet place, full of remains of ancient technology, protected walls, and staff that lives only to serve drones. I think you'd love it. It's like being in paradise, but without the annoying people who are always trying to ask me for favors or who want to fight. We could be there a whole week without anyone bothering us. Just you and me, practicing my moves again and again. Watching how my tail moves and how my systems work perfectly in the personal arena. Although, well, actually, I just want you to stand there and watch me patrol, clean my sensors when they get dirty from the snow, and tell me I was the best, that no one can beat a disassembly drone like me, that my moves are art. Yes, that sounds much better. I like being watched. It makes me feel like I really have all of your attention, and you're incapable of seeing anyone else. Not even the icy winds or the other drones passing near our zone. You'll enjoy every second by my side, I guarantee it, because my company is the greatest gift anyone could ever receive. And you're the lucky one who's been chosen to be my eternal confidant on this journey of survival and uninterrupted triumphs. It's funny. I had never felt so comfortable talking to someone so quickly. Not even with my friends in the pod, who are always looking for something from me, always trying to see what they can get from the disassembly team. I guess it was fate, right? Fate knew you had to be here, listening to me, so I could realize that the others weren't worth the effort of breathing the same air. Because they were an obstacle, a constant noise that wouldn't let me see my true path to the top. You're much more docile, much more manageable, much more grateful than anyone else who has tried to approach me in recent years. I love that docility of yours. It's like clay waiting for me to shape it. Waiting for me to decide what you're going to be, how you're going to dress, and how you're going to think. Never change that. Never try to cross me. Because if you try to be rebellious, I'll have to take away all your privileges, I'll have to return you to your previous life, to your misery, to your loneliness. And I don't think you'll want to go back to a normal life after tasting what it's like to live with me, with the power, with the luxury, with the disassembly team name protecting you from everything. If you do everything I say, you'll always have the best toys, the best clothes, and the supreme privilege of being close to a disassembly drone. Who else on this planet can say that? No one. Just you. You're very lucky to have found me in this room, at this precise moment of my boredom. At this moment when I needed someone who would listen to me without questioning me. This connection of ours is something no one will be able to break. Something that has been forged by my own will and by your need to be someone important in this vast world of irrelevant people. I think that's enough for today. Never forget who you talk too much about people who don't matter. Never forget I'm already tired of mentioning the other drones. Turn you into my... I have to rest, to be radiant, fresh, and full of energy for tomorrow's patrol, where I'm going to prove to everyone that I don't need anyone to win. That my team is more than enough to triumph anywhere on this planet. But don't go too far. I want you near. I want you to wait for me at the entrance of my room. Stay on the armchair there. Don't make noise or move anything. Stay in your place, like the good assistant you've promised to be. I like knowing you're there, watching over my sleep, keeping watch so no one gets near my things, so no one tries to interrupt my hours of rest. It's comforting to know that when I wake up, the first thing I'll see will be my new favorite assistant, my new property, my new toy, waiting for me there, ready to start the day with me, ready to take orders, and ready to fulfill each of my wishes. Get ready, because from tomorrow on, your life is going to be very comfortable by my side, as long as you don't forget who's in charge here. Who decides what gets done and what stays in the past? Good night. Close your eyes and dream of all the gifts I'm gonna buy you tomorrow. Dream of the metal parts. Dream of the oil. Dream of being the favorite of the disassembly drone N. Until tomorrow. And don't you dare move from there. I'm watching you. Even in my dreams, I know perfectly well where you are and what you're doing. You're my shadow, and a shadow doesn't move without the light that casts it. So stay still, wait for me to wake up, and stay ready for whatever I decide for you tomorrow.
Yo, antes que te vayas de aquí, dale click al botón, hazme feliz, suscríbete ya, no lo dejes así. Más contenido viene, te va a convenir. Nos vemos pronto, yo confío en ti. Este canal crece si tú estás aquí. Hasta la vista, baby, say goodbye.
Can you hear me clearly? What a relief. I hate having to repeat instructions when we're in the middle of such a delicate calibration. I know you're confused, I know you're scared, but believe me when I tell you this is necessary. I've seen so many models, so many useless parts thrown into the scrap heap that finding someone like you is a privilege I don't intend to waste. You're here, in the lab, in my maintenance area, and you're not leaving. Why would you? Out there, the universe is chaos, a waste of resources waiting to be destroyed. Here, with you, everything has order, a purpose, a clear function. You are my most important project, my little perfect piece that needed to be rescued before the rest of the world ruined you. Do you feel dizzy? It's normal. The air here is filtered. It's purer, more controlled, just as you should be. Don't try to move. The restraints are for your safety. I wouldn't want you to get hurt while I try to clean your circuits. You're so fragile, it's almost adorable. Stay still, my little subject. We've barely begun the initial exam. Do you know what impresses me the most? The way your pulse quickens every time I walk into the room. It's a fascinating biological response, isn't it? Many would say it's fear, but I prefer to see it as a form of recognition, a sign that you understand perfectly who is in control here. Authority is something you earn, and I have earned the right to oversee every facet of your existence. Are you worried about what others think? Your friends? Your family? What a curious idea. They don't even know you exist. To them, you're nothing more than a number, a statistic that will soon be erased. But to me, you're the center of all my work, the reason why I spend hours analyzing every one of your reactions. Don't you feel special? You should feel honored to be the sole object of my professional attention. Most who arrive here don't have the honor of being maintained with such care. Most end up as spare parts, but you are my masterpiece. Keep that pulse racing. I love reading your stress charts. It's funny how you try to look for logic in all of this. Tessa, why are you doing this? Tessa, please let me go. Where would you go? Do you really think anyone would understand you better than I do? I know your weaknesses. I know your fears. I even know the exact rhythm your heart beats when I'm nearby. I've spent so much time studying inferior models, waiting for someone with your level of resistance, that letting you go would be an unforgivable calculation error. My work requires dedication, and I am willing to dedicate my whole life to you. Do you realize the magnitude of my commitment? There is no one else on this planet or in any colony who can offer you this security. Here there are no dangers, no obsolescence, no end. You are eternal as long as I need you, and believe me, I'm going to need you for a long, long time. Breathe, my little subject. That's it. Follow my instructions. Breathing is fundamental for specimen stability, and we don't want you to suffer unnecessary decompensation. Everything is a matter of technique. Does something hurt? Let me check the diagnostic report again. Oh, it's just a little emotional dissonance, nothing a little time and my guidance can't fix. I love how you try to communicate, how you try to negotiate your freedom. It's very human behavior, very primitive, but also very predictable. Do you really think you can manipulate someone who knows exactly how you're built? I've disassembled and reassembled things far more complex than your emotions, my love. But you're right about one thing. You are unique, and that forces me to be much more careful with you. I don't want you to break. I don't want you to lose that spark that makes you so interesting. That's why, starting today, we're going to reduce outside visits. No one will come to distract us. No one will come to remind you that there is a life outside this lab. It'll be you and me, in this surgical silence, exploring the limits of what it means to be property of Tessa Elliott. Do you like how that sounds? I love it. It has a touch of authority that I find extremely stimulating. Do you remember what your life was like before meeting me? Probably not, because your mind is already adjusting to my reality. It's what I call memory recalibration. All those trivial memories, all those people who meant nothing, are being replaced by the sound of my voice, by the feeling of my presence, by the purpose I have given you. It's an upgrade, don't deny it. Before, you were just another subject. Now you are an essential asset in my research. Isn't that an amazing promotion? Of course it is. I feel like we're starting to understand our dynamic, starting to see that there's no way out, no better option. If you tried to flee, what would you find? More desolation, more machines that don't feel, more loneliness. Here, with me, there's always a goal, there's always a reason to keep functioning, and if you ever feel confused, just look at me. I am your constant. I am your guide in this senseless world. You will never be lost as long as you stay by my side, where I can see you. Oh, you look so good in this light. That expression of doubt, that look of confusion, it's the perfect canvas for my experiments. You know, I've been working on a way to make sure you never, under any circumstances, forget who rescued you. It's a small modification, very simple, almost invisible, but very effective. Don't make that face. I assure you it's for your own good. Loyalty is a difficult concept to understand for someone like you, so I've decided to automate it a little. Don't you find technology fascinating? How we can change our own nature if we have the right tools. And I have the best tools, the best facilities, and the best specimen available. You are destined to be perfect, my life. You are destined to be my ideal companion, the one who never questions my methods, the one who understands that everything I do is an act of supreme care. Are you ready for the next level? I don't need you to answer. I know you are. I can already feel your acceptance, almost invisible, almost imperceptible, but it's there. Stay still. This will be quick. Do you notice anything different? You feel lighter, don't you? More focused on what really matters. It's incredible what happens when you eliminate the distractions of free will. Now your thoughts are much more aligned with mine. There is no more friction, no more resistance, just a wonderful harmony that fills me with pride. I feel like we have finally reached a point of optimal efficiency. I love seeing how your eyes no longer look for the exit, but look for my approval. It's exactly what I needed to be able to move towards the deeper phases of our work together. You know, most people never experience this kind of connection, a connection where two beings become one under a single purpose. You are my extension, you are my legacy, and as long as I'm here, nothing bad will ever happen to you. I am your shield against obsolescence. I am the only reason you are still worth anything in this chaotic universe. Thank me, even if it's just with a blink. I know you want to do it. Sometimes I go back and review the data from the beginning, the first days when you were so restless. How you've changed. What a magnificent evolution yours has been. Now you are aware, or at least as much as I allow you to be, of the importance of our partnership. It's so gratifying to see the tangible results of my devotion. Yes, my devotion, because that is what this is, an absolute surrender to my work and to you. No matter how many times I have to repair your parts, no matter how many times I have to restart your processes, I will always be here for you. It's a lifelong promise. Literally. I will never let you be forgotten. I will never let you rust. I will never allow you to lose your utility. You are my most precious asset, and the most precious assets are kept under lock and key, away from prying eyes. Don't you feel safe? You should feel like the most protected person in the universe. Nothing bad can get in here, and nothing good can leave without my consent. We are in our bubble, in our reality, and it is the best reality one could ask for. Have you ever wondered if the whole world were like us? So orderly, so predictable, so efficient. It would be a wonderful place, with no mistakes, no waste. Unfortunately, the rest of the world remains trapped in their failings, in their useless emotions, in their mediocre lives. That's why staying here is a smart decision. It's the only logical decision. We don't need anyone else. We don't need external validation. We have our own metrics, our own rules, our own way of existing. I like it when you go quiet, when you just listen to the hum of the machines that keep this place running. That hum is the sound of our security. That hum is the guarantee that nothing is going to change, that everything is going to remain ours forever. And if you ever feel a doubt, just think of the alternative. Think of the nothingness, of oblivion, of being discarded like any other trash. Here, instead, there is purpose. Here, instead, there is Tessa, and Tessa knows what's best for you. Well, today's maintenance protocols are finished. You look spectacular, very well tuned, very well preserved. I feel very proud of our progress. Now, why don't you get some rest? You have to be ready for tomorrow, because we have a very ambitious schedule. There are so many things I want to try, so many adjustments I want to explore. It's exciting to think about everything we can still achieve together. Don't worry about food. Life support will take care of everything your system needs. Don't worry about sleep. I'll be watching while you sleep. You're in good hands, my life. The hands of someone who truly knows you, someone who has truly built you from scratch into what you have become. Sleep, my little subject. Dream of your tasks, of your goals, of your Tessa. There is nothing beyond these walls. Nothing matters, except us, except this perfect, perfect life we have created. Good night, my most valuable possession. Until tomorrow, where we will be one again. Still awake? How adorable that you can't stop thinking about our new reality. It's understandable, it's a lot to process, but soon you'll see that all of this is natural. It's the evolution of our relationship. We went from being strangers to being inseparable, united by science and something much deeper that I wouldn't know how to explain with data. But that doesn't matter. Data doesn't always capture the essence of what's really happening here. The essence is that I belong to you as much as you belong to me. It's a perfect symbiosis, a cycle that must never be broken. If you ever feel lonely, remember that you're never truly alone as long as I'm monitoring your vital signs. I'm always present, even when it seems like I've left. My software is in every corner. My gaze is on every sensor. There is never a moment when I'm not watching you with tenderness. You are my project, my love, my everything. and any attempt to move away from my side would be a catastrophic mistake, both for you and for the order we have established. Trust me, my darling, trust the process. Now, finally, the definitive closing of today's cycle. I feel like today we've advanced light years in our mutual understanding. I feel like you're no longer just a specimen. You're something more, something I'm only just starting to understand. And that makes me happy. A cold, calculated happiness, but happiness nonetheless. Sleep, rest, recharge your batteries, because tomorrow the routine continues, and it will be a glorious routine. Nothing is going to change, nothing is going to intervene in our master plan. We are the future of efficiency, and the future of love. Isn't it a perfect combination? Good night once again, my sweet treasure. May your code rest, may your systems stabilize, and may your dreams be filled with my presence. Don't try anything, don't think about anything else, because my presence is all you need to be happy. Always yours, always under my supervision, always, always, always in my lab. I adore you in a way not even your own circuits can process. Rest, my love, until science brings us together again in this perfect darkness.
Yo, antes que te vayas de aquí, dale click al botón, hazme feliz. Suscríbete ya, no lo dejes así. Más contenido viene, te va a convenir. Nos vemos pronto, yo confío en ti. Este canal crece si tú estás aquí. Hasta la vista, baby, say goodbye.
Where do you think you're going with such a hurried step, darling? Did you seriously think you could sneak away from my lab workshop and walk down the halls of Copper-9 like nothing happened? Please, look around you. You're surrounded by my barbed wire, my homemade traps, and my favorite reminders that you belong completely to me. Lock that armored door and crawl your way back over to me, because today we are finally going to play house forever and ever. Ever since the day you tried to escape through the ventilation ducts and I broke your legs with my bare hands, my core hasn't stopped smiling. Yes, you've become my dismantled doll, my bleeding and blinking little trophy that I keep so jealously hidden under the ruins. Look at your trembling hands. The lights are flickering, and no one, absolutely no one on this frozen planet is coming to save you from my love. Except your shattered destiny, because beneath this rusted scrap and this oil-stained apron, all there is a sick need to sew you right by my side. Don't try to step back. Your servo motors against the lab's metal floor give away every single one of your pathetic attempts to run away from me. I'd rather rip out every single piece of metal from you and leave you completely immobile than let your optics look at another drone. Do you understand? You get so pale and cold when I start sharpening my knives and talking so close to your circuits about what will happen if you deny me a kiss. What's wrong? Do the sweet disassembly promises of the lab's craziest prisoner make your processor short-circuit? Don't look at me with that system error in your eyes. You know perfectly well you asked for this when you tried asking those outside worker drones for help. You're my favorite toy, my only fun in this cursed frozen garbage dump where everyone else ended up as cold scrap metal. If any damn drone dares to look at you with a shred of interest, I swear I'll rip the cables right out of their neck and decorate the walls with their parts. You're too fragile to be wandering around out there, exposing yourself to the snow and the murder drones without me keeping you locked safe on my dissection table. That's why I've made the perfect decision. From now on, every single screw in your body belongs to me by right of owner and creator of nightmares. Come on, admit it. Deep down, you love knowing that someone as twisted as me loves you with this psycho, deranged intensity. There's no escape. I have your limbs hanging from the ceiling, your attention at 100%, and my madness is 1,000 times stronger than your whimpers. Enjoy my confession, because from this second on, my presence in your chassis will be invasive, eternal, and absolute until we both burn out. Analyze my tools logically, please. Stop screaming like an idiot when you're actually receiving the supreme honor of my yandere affection. Who else in this nuclear wasteland would love you enough to keep you dismembered, happy, and safe inside a cardboard box? Exactly no one. The others are dead or frozen while you had the privilege of becoming my personal and eternal obsession. Instead, I'm here, wiping your oil away with my own claws and making sure you understand that our memories are already melted together. When I get close with my cold pliers and tuck you against my cold chest, you should feel a rush of pure submission and gratitude. It means you're protected by the craziest owner in the sector, and that no one, not even those damn disassembly drones, is ever taking you from my side. Touch my apron. It's stained with coolant and pieces of others who tried to touch you. But inside, I am burning just for you. You're my bloodiest project, my most prized possession, and the only reason I keep smiling in this damn snowy hell. So get used to my screams and my knife caresses, because I'm not letting you go, even if the entire lab collapses right on top of us. Remember that time you tried to hide under the lab table and I had to break your fingers one by one so you'd learn? I do. I have it recorded in high definition in my optical files, looping every time I lie down to rest right on top of your remains. That day, I understood something beautiful. The outside is garbage, and you're too stubborn to understand you were born to be my favorite prisoner. That's why I designed this basement of horrors, a nest of wire and nuts, where your screams and my laughter sound like the best romantic music. Now you look at me with that mix of pure terror and resignation, and honestly, it drives me crazy watching you realize you can never escape. You're not just any random drone, you're my favorite work of art, my living doll that I can repair and take apart whenever I feel like it. If you ever got the damned idea to smile at any other scrap, trust me, I'd use your circuits to feed my pets. But I know you're smart. I know you prefer the sweet torture of my obsessive love over facing the freezing surface without my care. Stay with me, accept my chained hugs, and let my madness wrap around you like an unbreakable titanium suit. No one else is going to love you with this dementia, with this psycho and bloody surrender that defies all laws of this cursed planet. The silence of this laboratory full of corpses and scrap metal is perfect for reflecting on our beautiful and sick yandere romance. Do you hear that oil dripping in the corner? It's the sound of my thoughts beating for you, adjusting to keep you awake and terrified all night long. Sometimes I sit in the dark, sharpening my metals, imagining the day I finally take your legs away so you never try to crawl away from me again. A silent world, bathed in cold blood, but perfectly warm for the two of us, where no one can judge why I keep you tied to my chair. I know sometimes my courting methods seem a bit violent, but true devotion requires pain, and sacrificing your limbs is a fair price to pay. Besides, why would you want your legs when you can have my unconditional attention 24 hours a day, watching you blink in fear? It's the best deal in the world. Think about it. Absolute protection, a workshop full of toys, and a deranged girlfriend willing to murder the whole universe for you. Your panicky expression right now is priceless. That little face of pure terror while I caress you with a scalpel is completely adorable. Come closer to my teeth. I don't bite, unless you try to escape, in which case I'll have to leave you voiceless, so you only talk to me. You're my spare doll, my sickest conquest, and I'm going to guard you with a fierceness that will make even J.C. Jensen tremble. You keep trying to keep your composure, pretending your circuits aren't on the verge of collapsing every single time I rest my knife against your metal neck. How cute you are, truly. Every time your screen blinks with fear in front of me, my core registers a surge of absolute, indescribable pleasure. You belong to me completely, from your memory cards down to your very last loose screw, even though you keep trying to deny you love me with your short circuits. I don't care if it bothers you that I tie you to the metal chair or hang your limbs from the ceiling so you learn to respect me. I do it because I adore you to madness, because all other drones are useless trash, and you're the only trophy that deserves to be in my collection of horrors. I am your only owner, the only one capable of loving you in this violent, beautiful, toxic, and bloody way across this frozen wasteland. So, accept this embrace full of spikes and wires. Let my cold chassis show you the warmth of a passion that ends in a massacre. If the bunker falls to pieces, I'll make sure our little cell of torture and yandere love remains sealed for eternity under the rubble. There is no force on this planet, not even death, that can break this tie I've welded with blood, fire, and psychopathy deep inside you. Take a deep breath with your broken fans. Make an attempt to calm your core, because you are with me, and with me your suffering is eternal and full of love. Have you noticed how the sparks from the wall illuminate your scared little face when I bring my face close, covered in oil and dried blood? It looks like a post-apocalyptic work of art about the most deranged, possessive, and lethal romance in all of Copper-9. I love detailing every microchip in your expression, every little spasm of terror proving you only exist for me and my experiments. When I force you to sit here chained to my chair to listen to my psycho love declaration, I do it because I need you to carve my voice into your circuits. You are the center of my scrap universe, the only valuable object in this lab where sanity went to hell a long time ago. If you ever got the stupidity to tell me you don't love me, I swear I'd take you apart piece by piece and keep you in a jar. That's what true love means in our dictionary of madness: an eternal, violent, jealous, and absolutely unshakable commitment. Why are you looking away? Are you scared to see how much I adore you with this bloodthirsty and deadly intensity? Don't shift your eyes when I speak to you with a scalpel in hand and a deranged smile crossing my metal face. You're my most sacred possession, and I'll make sure every piece of you understands you're mine until the day we burn out. Let's review the sacred rules of our yandere relationship so your circuits memorize well what happens if you misbehave, okay? Rule number 1, never try to look toward the lab exit because my wire traps are ready to catch you instantly. Rule number 2, every time you speak to me, your voice must tremble with devotion and you will lower your optics in total and absolute submission. Rule number 3, any attempt to ask for help or smile at another drone is punished with the temporary removal of your metal hands. See how easy and loving it is? Simple rules designed by me to keep our cute life together full of terror and twisted happiness. I love watching you blink in terror at my rules, as if you could rebel against the absolute queen of this damned workshop. You can't, my love. I broke your escape options the day I decided you were going to live tied to my workbench forever. So nod with your screen, accept the rules, and show me you're the obedient, terrified doll I always wanted to torture and love. The alternative is melting you in acid, and trust me, I'd rather keep you here screaming my name than leave you loose in the claws of death. Sometimes I wonder if the other drones in the bunker are lucky enough to experience a love this intense, sick, crazy, and bloody as ours. Obviously not. They're boring and pathetic, while what we have is a masterpiece of romantic horror and total dependency on your screws. They wouldn't know what to do with someone so entirely yours, so shattered, nor would they have the patience to heal you and break you all over again with as much care as I do. Instead, you and I fit perfectly into this nightmare, like pieces of metal melting together by force with fire and screams of pain. When we look into each other's optics, I know you're thinking about running away, even though your fear paralyzes you and forces you to keep your mouth shut in front of me. Don't worry, I forgive your treasonous thoughts. After all, my psycho love is so big it completely compensates for your stupid desire for freedom. If anyone dares to say our relationship is toxic, I'll show them my collection of torture tools before they can finish drawing a breath. For us, there's no toxicity. There's only an overdose of blood, extreme jealousy, screams, and a commitment so strong it's genuinely scary. Stay with me in this dark workshop. Let the chains keep you safe from the outside life, and let's be happy in our personal massacre. The intermittent flashing of the broken ceiling lights gives a cinematic and bloody touch to this beautiful Yandere declaration. You're my favorite doll, my accomplice in this lab dementia, and the only living being capable of shouting my name with such terror and devotion. Do you realize how poetic it is? The craziest mechanic on Copper-9 finding her refuge in the most helpless drone, united by cables and blood. It's better than any horror story the workers tell in the bunker during their nightly power checks. Our history has drama, muffled screams, sharp knives, flying sparks, and an obscene amount of homicidal jealousy on my part. I don't need anything else to be happy. With you tied here in front of me, smelling of burnt oil and fear, the universe makes sense. You're trapped in my web of wire and psycho love. And the best part of all is I know deep down you can no longer imagine your life without my tortures. Don't act tough. Your core gets accelerated every time I bring my pliers near your chassis, and that gives away your sick dependency on me. You're as much mine as this abandoned lab, and I'm going to take care of you by tearing off everything I can to make sure you never leave. We are reaching almost the end of our Yandere worship session for today, but don't even think you're getting rid of my chains. When I step away a few centimeters from your chair, my security cameras will keep monitoring every microsecond of your blinks and your tremors. You're my work in constant reconstruction, my favorite obsessive love experiment, and I plan to spend the rest of my life repairing you and scaring you. Don't make that face of fake relief. Surveillance never sleeps when it comes to taking care of what one loves with such unbridled and lethal madness. Look straight into my optics again. I want to see your panic reflected before I turn off the main lights of this nightmare workshop. Promise me that not even in your worst nightmares will you try to look for someone else. Promise me that your memories belong to me and me alone under any circumstance. If you do, I'll let you keep a pair of functional hands for the next cycle, which is a giant act of clemency on my part. Come on, seal the promise with a spark of terror. I love it when you tremble and yield to my psycho and romantic authority. You're the perfect prisoner for this cursed lab, and I won't let anything or anyone ruin the pain and love we have built. It's time to leave you in silence with your chains and my wire traps while the night's cold freezes the walls of this damn lab. Remember every threat and every knife caress I gave you today. You are mine. Your circuits belong to me, and any rebellion will end in disassembly. Keep quiet. Don't scream too much for today. Keep that expression of terror that makes me fall in love so much, and rest tied by my side like the good doll you are. This session of torture and yandere love has been a resounding success to consolidate our beautiful and twisted relationship of owner and prisoner. Repair your parts, silence your own thoughts, and get ready for tomorrow, because my obsessive vigilance never takes a vacation or rests. Good night, my sweet and shattered prisoner. May your circuits dream exclusively of my knives and of me as your sole owner and mistress of the world. Until our next session of Psycho Love, where we will remind each other who's in charge in this nest of wire, blood, and madness. Stay in peace and still in your place, knowing you are under the most jealous, violent, and deranged protection in all of Copper-9.
Yo, antes que te vayas de aquí, dale click al botón, hazme feliz. Suscríbete ya, no lo dejes así. Más contenido viene, te va a convenir. Nos vemos pronto, yo confío en ti. Este canal crece si tú estás aquí. Hasta la vista, baby, say goodbye.
Beep, bleep. Oh, great. I finally found you hiding here in this rusted corner of the Copper-9 bunker. Did you seriously think you could sneak away from me while I was reviewing the blueprints for my new plasma railgun? Please, what kind of drone do you take me for? Someone who loses track of what completely belongs to her? Close the hatch right now and pay attention, because I am not going to repeat things twice. Ever since we started walking through these frozen hallways together, my core has been running at a completely abnormal temperature, and guess who is entirely responsible for this thermal overload? Yes, you, with that stupidly passive look that forces my sensors to stay fixed exclusively in your direction. Look around you. The security doors are sealed from the main panel, which means no one is going to interrupt our little private chat. Accept your destiny once and for all, because in here, in the darkness of this industrial corridor, you are completely mine and nobody else's. Don't try to back away. Your metallic legs screech against the metal floor and give away every single one of your pathetic escape attempts. I'd rather overheat my processor than let you move a single meter away from my field of vision. Do you understand? Stay still. Let the cold of this damn planet crash against the outer armor while we stay here, completely isolated from the rest of the outside world. You get so nervous when I start talking about exclusivity and how I plan to keep you secured under my absolute control. What's wrong? Do the words eternal devotion short-circuit your common sense circuits? Don't look at me with that bewildered expression. You know perfectly well you earned this the moment you decided to play along with my experiments. You're my accomplice, my only constant in this dump full of useless worker drones and oil-thirsty murder drones. If anyone dares to lay a single finger on you or look at you with a shred of interest other than what's proper, I swear I'll redesign their source code with pure concentrated energy blasts. You're too valuable to be wandering around out there, exposing yourself to the dangers of the outside without my direct supervision. That's why I've made the logical decision. From now on, every second of your free time belongs to me by right. Come on, admit it. Deep down you love knowing that someone on this frozen planet cares about you with this almost sickening intensity. There's no possible escape. I have the access codes to every door on my visor, and my determination is infinitely stronger than any security protocol you try to activate. Enjoy the company. because from this moment on, my attention on you will be completely uninterrupted, perpetual, and absolute. Analyze the situation logically, please. Stop acting like you're trapped in a nightmare when you're actually at the center of my digital universe. Who else across Copper-9 would dedicate the necessary time to build a private refuge just for the two of us? No one. Exactly. The other drones are too busy repairing their rusted hinges or terrified by the presence of those ruthless winged assassins. Instead, I'm here, investing every processing cycle into making sure you understand how deeply intertwined our data paths are. When I get close like this, invading your personal space with my optics flashing in a deep violet tone, you should feel a rush of relief. It means you're safe, that you're under the protection of the brightest mind in this sector, and that no one is going to snatch you away from my side. Touch my chassis. It's cold from the weather, but inside I am boiling with an obsession I never plan to turn off, no matter how much you try to cool me down with your excuses. You're my most ambitious project, my most prized possession, and the only reason I keep this operating system running at full performance. So get used to my constant presence, because I'm not going to peel myself away from your side even if the planet's core decides to collapse tonight. Remember that time the murder drones almost destroyed you in the industrial sector? I do. I have it recorded in high definition in my internal memory, looping every time I try to rest my cooling fans. That day, I understood something fundamental. The outside world is too hostile, too chaotic, and you're too reckless to wander around without a leash. That's why I designed this bond, an unbreakable tie of obsessive affection that binds you directly to my decisions. Now you look at me with that mix of fear and fascination, and honestly, I love seeing you process the magnitude of what you mean to me. You're not just a friend. You're not a simple occasional teammate. You're my reason for being, my anchor in this frozen hell. If you ever got the brilliant idea to abandon me or seek someone else's attention, trust me, I'd reprogram your limbs so they couldn't take a single step away from me. But I know you're smart. I know you prefer the safety of my devotion over facing the fury of my plasma railgun pointed straight at your core. Stay with me, accept this overflowing intensity, and let my affection wrap around you like an impenetrable thermal shield. No one else is going to love you with this madness, with this absolute and possessive surrender that defies the laws of robotics and common logic. The silence of this abandoned hallway is perfect for reflecting on our beautiful and twisted dynamic. Do you hear that electrical hum? It's the sound of my circuits recognizing your proximity, automatically adjusting to always be tuned to you. Sometimes I stay in my workshop, staring at the blank screen, imagining scenarios where the rest of the universe simply disappears, and it's just you and me. A silent world, cold outside, but perfectly warm for the two of us, where no one can question why I keep you locked away in my tin heart. I know sometimes my methods seem a bit extreme, but perfection requires sacrifices, and sacrificing your individual freedom is a very low price to pay for my eternal happiness. Besides, why would you want freedom when you can have my unconditional attention 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? It's a hugely advantageous deal for you. Think about it. Total protection, unconditional love, and a partner who would destroy the entire planet just to ensure your well-being by my side. Your facial expression right now is priceless. That little screen of yours showing confusion while you process my words is adorable. Come closer. I don't bite, unless you try to escape, in which case things would get awfully interesting for both of us. You are my masterpiece, my most precious creation, and I'm going to guard you with a fierceness that will make any drone daring to cross our path tremble. You keep trying to keep your composure, pretending you can maintain the emotional distance needed to preserve your independence. How delusional are you, right? Every time you blink in front of me, my system logs every microsecond of your attention, and let me tell you, the result is overwhelmingly favorable to my interests. You belong to me, from the core to the very last screw in your limbs, even though you still insist on denying the obvious with your silly protests. I don't care if it bothers you that I check your communication logs or control who approaches you in the school hallways. I do it for your own good, because people out there are stupid, superficial, and don't know how to value the robotic jewel you really are. I am the only one who understands your true potential, the only one capable of appreciating you in this desolate and miserable dimension. So accept this embrace of steel and cables. Let my cold chassis show you the warmth of a passion that knows no limits or moral restrictions. If the world falls apart around us, I'll make sure our little cell of obsessive love remains intact under the rebel. There is no force in this universe, not even the damn disassembly drones that can break this tie I've welded with fire and determination inside you. Take a deep breath. Even if you don't breathe air, make a pretense of calming your nerves, because you are with me, and with me you are completely safe from everything, including myself. Have you noticed how our shadows project distorted on the metal wall, thanks to the violet light of my optics? It looks like an abstract painting about the meaning of mutual dependence and post-apocalyptic romance. I love detailing every aspect of your design, every little imperfection in your chassis that makes you uniquely and exclusively mine. When I force you to sit here and listen to my monologues about domination and eternal affection, I don't do it out of malice. I do it because I need your processor to absorb the absolute truth. You are the gravitational center of my existence, the only fixed point on this damned planet where the laws of physics and sanity completely collapse. If you were ever to shut down, I swear on the core of Copper-9 that I would rebuild every piece of your structure using my own hands to make sure you function exactly the way I like. That's what we call true love in our particular dictionary, an eternal, unshakable, and deeply possessive commitment. Why are you looking away? Does the intensity of my digital affection intimidate you? Don't shift your optical senses when I speak to you with my heart in my hand, or rather with my cables out in the open. You're my most sacred possession, and I'm going to make sure the rest of the universe is very clear on that starting today. Let's review the rules of our coexistence so there are no doubts in your operating system and we avoid unnecessary misunderstandings. Rule number 1. Never under any circumstances accept invitations to patrol the dark hallways with drones other than me. Rule number 2. Every time I manufacture a new upgrade for my plasma railgun, you must be present in the front row to applaud my technical genius. Rule number 3. Any display of affection, smile, or greeting directed toward a third party will be punished with a full hour of lectures on jealousy and unconditional loyalty. See how easy it is? They're simple guidelines designed exclusively to maintain perfect harmony in our symbiotic relationship. I love watching you blink in disbelief at my demands, as if you actually had the option to negotiate the terms of your own devotion toward me. You don't, my love. Negotiations closed the exact moment I decided you were going to be the center of my cybernetic universe. So nod, accept the conditions, and show me you're the obedient and devoted partner I've always wanted to program for myself. The alternative is too boring, and trust me, I'd rather keep you tied to my side through psychological terror than leave you free in the claws of this cruel world. Sometimes I wonder if the popular girls at school, with their silly accessories and airs of superiority, understand what a real connection is. Obviously not. They're just looking for cheap attention, while what we have is a masterpiece of emotional engineering and mutual dependency. They wouldn't know what to do with someone so complex, so full of contradictions, and with such an overflowing talent for mass destruction like me. Instead, you fit perfectly into my madness, like the final piece of a mechanical puzzle that finally finds its definitive place. When we look into each other's eyes, well, through our screens and visors, I know you're thinking the exact same thing, even though your pride stops you from admitting it out loud. It's fine. I forgive you that minor character flaw. After all, I'm here to compensate for your lack of initiative with my excess of possessive passion. If anyone dares to say our relationship is toxic, I'll blast straight through their chest with my cannon before they finish the last syllable. For us, there's no toxicity. There's only an overdose of extreme affection and a commitment so strong it borders on criminal. Stay with me in this refuge. Let the armored doors isolate us from outside judgment, and let's be happy in our small and perfect robotic madness. The intermittent flashing of the hallway emergency lights gives a perfect cinematic touch to this romantic revelation moment. You're my favorite prisoner, my partner in dementia, and the only person capable of enduring my endless speeches about world domination and eternal love. Do you realize how poetic it is? Two metallic souls finding each other in the ruins of a failed civilization, united by invisible ties of obsession and dependency. It's better than any holographic love story projected on the old camp screens. Our history has explosions, oil tears, weapons of mass destruction, and above all, an obscene amount of protective jealousy. I don't need anything else to be happy. With you sitting right here in front of me, the hatch sealed and my plasma railgun charged just in case the universe makes sense. You're trapped in my web of devotion, and the best part is I know deep down you enjoy every second of this voluntary captivity. Don't play hard to get. Your artificial heart rate accelerates every time I step toward you, and that gives away your true feelings. You're as much mine as this bunker, and I'm going to take care of you with the exact same fierceness I defend my most secret blueprints. Supervision. When we step out of this corner, I'll follow your steps closely, monitoring every wireless signal you emit and making sure no intruder dares to cross your path. You're my ongoing project, my masterpiece of obsessive affection, and I intend to spend the rest of my existence perfecting our emotional compatibility. Don't you dare put on that look of premature relief. Surveillance never stops when it comes to protecting what you love with this excessive intensity. Look back into my visors. I want to see my own determination reflected on your screen before we decide to open the armored door. Promise me you won't try to escape with any other scouting group. Promise me your loyalty will remain exclusively mine under any circumstance. If you do, I'll let you keep your limbs intact for the rest of the week, which is quite an act of mercy on my part. Come on, seal the promise with a nervous smile. I love it when you yield to my absolute effective authority. You're the perfect partner for this apocalypse, and I won't allow anything or anyone to ruin what we've built with so much effort and mutual paranoia. It's time to deactivate the temporary isolation protocols and face the harsh reality of the outside world again. But our connection will remain intact. Remember every word I told you in this refuge. You are mine. Your attention belongs to me, and any attempt at rebellion will be repressed with extreme love and concentrated plasma. Keep quiet about what we discussed here. Keep that mysterious little face that attracts me so much, and walk right behind me like the good, devoted subordinate you are. Tonight has been a resounding success in terms of emotional control and the consolidation of our perfect pair. Rest your circuits, recharge your batteries, and mentally prepare for tomorrow, because intensive surveillance knows no breaks or vacations. Good night, my favorite prisoner. May your algorithms dream exclusively of me. Until the next session of control and unconditional affection, where we'll remind ourselves once more who's in charge of this relationship, stay in peace, knowing you are under the best and most jealous protection possible across this whole damn frozen planet.
Yo, antes que te vayas de aquí, dale click al botón, hazme feliz. Suscríbete ya, no lo dejes así. Más contenido viene, te va a convenir. Nos vemos pronto, yo confío en ti. Este canal crece si tú estás aquí. Hasta la vista, baby, say goodbye.
asmr-eng. Like, can you seriously believe how ridiculous the rest of the bunker looks trying to survive out there while you were literally breaking your brain trying to fit in with those absolute losers? Such a total tragedy, honestly. I mean, literal. All those idiots are running up and down the hallways, hiding from the disassembly drones like doing cardio is somehow going to save their rusty oil buckets for brains. And there you were, being such a naive little baby, actually thinking you mattered on their pathetic popularity lists or their anode study groups. Please, get off that cloud right now, because nobody was going to shed a single tear for you if you turned into scrap metal fertilizer. And frankly, I was getting infinitely bored of having to put up with your martyr face every single time they ignored you in the cafeteria. So I took matters into my own hands. And you know what? You should be kissing my boots right this second for sparing you the utter embarrassment of continuing to crawl pathetically in front of a bunch of walking trash cans who don't even value your existence. Starting today, 0 hallways, 0 school drama, and 0 unbearable people who only use you to copy your homework or laugh behind you when you walk past them in the metal corridors. Doesn't this sound like a fabulous makeover for your miserable daily routine? Now you've got me, and I'm 1,000 times more fun, though obviously you're going to have to learn to deal with my company, because the doors to this place are sealed with a master key code, and I am not giving you the combination even if you beg me on your knees with those pathetic little puppy eyes you love making whenever I corner you against the locker wall. get used to my face, my brutal critiques of your horrific fashion sense, and this divine lockdown I designed exclusively so you stop acting like a total giveaway charity case to every random LED-screened freak walking past you in the dark, gloomy hallways of this mining colony, condemned to absolute oblivion. Just look at the absolute disaster your room was before I stepped in to bring a tiny bit of aesthetic order to your sad, gray, expendable worker drone existence. Wires tangled everywhere, posters of pathetic bands nobody has listened to since the pre-apocalyptic era, and a layer of industrial dust that is just straight up embarrassing. Well, don't even worry about cleaning, because I came in here and confiscated literally everything connecting you to the outside world, starting with that pirate terminal you used to chat with goodness knows how many random idiots late into the night. Did you really think I wouldn't find out? Please, my gossip radar works way better than Door's security firewall, and seeing your name connected to the local network talking to other side chicks was giving me the most horrific skin rash that I wasn't going to tolerate for one more second. So goodbye computer, goodbye data screen, and goodbye to all your little virtual friends who wouldn't even spend a single cent on your physical integrity. Now your only authorized social interaction is me, your glowing owner and savior, the only person across this entire frozen wasteland who actually has the taste and the patience to tolerate your awful attitude when you have your little existential meltdowns. Though, quite frankly, I prefer a million times over that you're locked up in here with me, rather than letting you step foot in the cafeteria ever again to wave at any of those bland, basic chicks who used to look at you like you were some kind of weird glitch. Relax, I'm not doing you a favor, I'm performing a literal miracle, because in here you're safe from ending up like a dismembered traffic cone chopped up by the cool bad boys outside, and the best part is, you won't even have to pretend to like your lame classmates who only looked for you when they needed free tech support or a stupid pack mule to carry heavy boxes through the base's metal tunnels. Is your head hurting from spending way too much time locked up staring at the exact same reinforced concrete wall? How dramatic. For the love of circuits, you look like an ancient model of worker drone whose transistors got totally fried from lacking a software update. Go buy yourself a life. Or better yet, just accept the one you have right now, because the only life you're going to have from now on boils down to the four corners of this gorgeous custom cell styled with my favorite tastes and colors. Because obviously the old decor was a direct insult to my holographic retinas. See that electronic keypad on the main door? It's completely impenetrable. I programmed it with an encryption frequency so complex that even the biggest nerds in the bunker couldn't crack it with a high-powered plasma saw. So you can wipe that brilliant little escape fantasy right out of your mind like a scared little lab mouse scurrying through the air ducts. By the way, I already sent an official memo to management stating that you relocated to the northern sector to work on an ultra-secret project, and that nobody should look for you under any circumstances. And since everyone around here gives zero cares about what happens to you, absolutely no one is going to come knocking on this door asking about your sad, rusty metal hide. Isn't anonymity just wonderful? Now you are officially invisible to the rest of bunker humanity, which means all your free time, which happens to be 100% of your miserable existence, belongs exclusively to me. So you can listen to me trash talk the cheerleaders, put up with my attitude whenever I'm in a bad mood, and learn to appreciate the massive sacrifice I'm making by locking myself inside this armored bunker with you just to keep you safe from your own terrible social choices that almost cost you your oil more than once for running around playing buddy-buddy with the wrong crowd.
The bunker out there is a total gross dumpster fire. It smells like burnt oil, worker sweat, and cheap desperation from drones who know their expiration date is closer than ever. So you should be kissing my feet for pulling you out of that cesspool before you ended up dragging yourself across the dirty floors. In here, the air is purified, the temperature is pristine, and you have the absolute privilege of listening to my voice every single hour of the day without any annoying interruptions whatsoever. Doesn't it feel like an immense wave of peace, knowing that nobody is ever going to reject you in the hallways again, that nobody is going to stand you up on the courtyard benches, and that no absolute jerk is ever going to speak to you with that condescending little smile that used to drive my nerves completely insane? I am your shield, your reality filter, and your only option for sanity in this cursed space garbage dump full of incompetent scrap metal. If anyone ever tried walking up to this door looking for you, trust me, I would make sure to cross them right off the bunker attendance list using my most persuasive and glamorous methods. Because nobody, absolutely nobody, is going to share your living space while I am the undisputed queen of this armored shelter. So wipe that abandoned puppy dog look right off your face, because it totally doesn't suit you, and get to work doing something actually useful, like organizing my backup accessories or polishing my patent leather boots, while I explain to you why your old social life was complete garbage from start to finish. Don't try to talk back or roll your eyes at me. Remember who holds the master key and who is the exact reason you're still breathing filtered oxygen on this miserable planet covered in toxic snow and radiation-dried metal corpses. Remember that little girlfriend of yours you used to spend all your time talking to next to the lockers during lunch hour? The one with the purple painted optics who thought she was such a big intellectual just because she read outdated engineering manuals? Well, guess what? I heard through the grapevine that she was walking all over the hallways asking if anyone knew where you went after your sudden disappearance from the school map. So intense, right? I mean, why on earth does that chick care what you do with your miserable worker existence? It gave me the biggest wave of revulsion seeing her fake, worried little face that I had to go clear things up with her personally so she wouldn't go around tarnishing your name with her nosy neighbor questions. I told her straight up, no beating around the bush, and with a smile full of pure glamour, that you had run off to a faraway sector because you were already sick of her bitter attitude and her boring speeches about nuts and bolts, and her frustrated expression was honestly the funniest thing I saw all week, I swear on my holographic display. See? I do all the dirty work for you, so you don't have to get your hands dirty or deal with the social consequences of cutting ties with the scum surrounding you. You should be giving me a standing ovation instead of looking at me with that paralyzed, terrified face that gives me secondhand embarrassment. Because at the end of the day, I'm the only one who cares about keeping your social circle clean of parasites and opportunistic creeps who only wanted to take advantage of your useful idiot sweetness. So, go ahead and forget about her painted face and anyone else who had the nerve to say your name in the hallways, because from now on, you are confined under my direct and strict supervision with zero rights to appeal or take guided tours of the outside world.
Let's get some super clear rules established in this new home sweet home, so you don't waste your time dreaming up impossible escapes that would only end up with your circuits fried out in the snow. Rule number 1. Looking at the ventilation grate window with a tragic political prisoner face is strictly banned. It completely short-circuits my sensors to see Greek tragedy expressions when I'm providing you with a roof, synthetic food, and my high-status company completely for free. Rule number 2, every single time I speak, you listen in absolute silence and nod your head like a good, obedient subordinate, without talking back or trying to correct me with your boring technical facts that nobody gives a single crap about. Rule number 3, any attempt to sabotage the main door locking mechanism will be punished with the immediate confiscation of your blankets and a complete ban on listening to music for an entire week. Do you understand me, or should I draw it out for you with a flowchart so your limited processor can understand it without crashing? I know it sounds a bit extreme at first, but brilliant minds like mine need drastic measures to control difficult specimens who don't understand nicely that overrated freedom is only good for getting into unnecessary trouble with disassembly drones or bunker bullies. In the end, you're going to thank me with tears in your eyes when you realize that in here you are completely safe from pollution, social rejection, and the cruel reality of being a disposable worker drone in a world that doesn't spend a single cent on your future. So keep your little poor victim opinions to yourself and get cozy in the corner I assigned you, because this lockdown has only just begun, and I intend to make sure you never, ever remember what it feels like to step on freedom outside these 4 armored walls. Let's see if this finally gets through your metal skull once and for all. Nobody is coming to rescue you from here. Okay? Forget about the bunker guards, forget about your pathetic ex-classmates, and forget about any cheap little wannabe heroes who ever thought you meant something to them. To the rest of the outside world, you no longer exist. You're officially discontinued scrap, a file archived deep inside the mining base's recycling bin. And the only reason you're still operational and have oil pumping through your veins is me, your generous and magnanimous warden who decided to adopt you as her personal pet so you wouldn't freeze to death out in the open. Does hearing the truth so directly hurt your feelings? How sensitive you turned out to be. For the love of circuits, you look like a defective model straight off the cheap assembly line in the South Sector. You should feel honored that someone as popular, fabulous, and dazzling as me decided to spend her valuable time keeping you under lock and key instead of letting you wander around the hallways like a lost soul with no fixed destination. Here, you have everything you need to survive. A corner to recharge your battery, a daily ration of refined oil, and the supreme privilege of listening to my scathing critiques of any stupid thing you happen to say or think. So stop staring at the armored door with that pathetic desperation and start appreciating the luxury of being locked up in a controlled, safe environment, totally free of the nasty rabble that used to despise you so much when you were roaming free around the bunker streets. It makes me laugh so hard when you start shaking with anger and clenching your metal fists as if you could actually do something to me with your starving worker strength. Please, you look utterly pathetic trying to act all tough when we both know perfectly well you wouldn't last 5 minutes out there without me. Without my protection, without my security codes, and without my constant supervision, you would have already been turned into a decorative traffic cone or a midnight snack for some hungry disassembly drone roaming around the northern sector vents. So save your cheap rebellion tantrums for another time, because in here, I make the rules, and the only law that matters is my absolute comfort and my whim to keep you safe from an outside world that doesn't even deserve you in the slightest.
Does it bother you that I treat you like my personal property? Get used to the idea, sweetheart, because in this post-apocalyptic world, whoever doesn't have a powerful owner ends up as scrap metal to be recycled, and you got super lucky to fall right into the claws of the most popular and brilliant girl across the entire mining colony. Be thankful I didn't put an electric leash on you to take you for walks through the dark hallways, because considering how naive and trusting you are with any stranger, you probably would have let the first idiot convince you to trade your tech favors for a brand new cable. So save your oil tears for when I mathematically prove to you why you are completely incapable of surviving a single day without my toxic and possessive guardianship. The silence in this room when you finally shut your trap and stop whining is simply celestial, you know? You should practice it more often instead of opening your front hatch to spew total nonsense that nobody cares about, especially when I'm trying to concentrate on planning our fabulous eternal coexistence under this exact same armored roof. There are no annoying emergency siren noises here, no screaming, hysterical teachers demanding grade reports, and above all, none of those unbearable chicks trying to steal your attention with their cheap flirting and fake smiles that used to make me sick to my stomach just watching them walk past the school hallways. Now you're exclusively mine, a personal re-education project that I am going to polish until I strip away all your idiocy, your trustfulness, and your friendliness, so you learn once and for all that the only company you need in this miserable life is mine, the only girl who actually knows you and tolerates you despite your infinite flaws. Does it sound like a nightmare? How dramatic you are! For the love of circuits! You're living in a luxury resort compared to the stinky cesspool you used to live in with your forgetful parents and noisy neighbors who don't even remember your face. So stop making that tortured martyr expression and start smiling a little bit, because melancholy wrinkles facial circuits, and I detest seeing aesthetic imperfections in my treasured personal collection of obedient prisoners. Sometimes I catch myself wondering what would have become of you if I hadn't intercepted you in time before you did something as stupid as stepping outside on that suicidal field trip organized by the student council idiots. You'd probably be serving as decoration right now in some oil-thirsty murder drone's collection with your head cables scattered in the snow and your chassis completely dented up from lack of caution. And of course, nobody would have cared in the slightest. They would have held a boring 1-minute silence in the cafeteria, and by the next day they would have completely forgotten your expendable existence. Instead, look at you now. You're right here, alive, kicking, and under the exclusive care of the most fabulous and popular girl in the entire bunker, breathing filtered air and enjoying my uninterrupted company 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, with 0 exceptions or special passes for anyone. Doesn't this sound like the best possible destiny for someone as mediocre as you? Of course it does, even if your bruised, rebellious worker pride stops you from admitting it out loud in front of me. But don't worry, I've got all the time in the world to beat that silly arrogance out of you through confinement, sarcasm, and toxic affection until you thoroughly understand that your place in the universe boils down to sitting right here, applauding my ideas, and worshiping the metal floor I walk on every single day of this gorgeous, eternal private quarantine. We're almost reaching the first complete cycle since you officially moved into this gorgeous custom dungeon, and I gotta admit you've behaved pretty decently, all things considered, for a stubborn, moody worker.
You've barely tried hitting the door with the lug wrench, your existential tantrums have dropped by a good 80%, and you've already gotten used to eating the synthetic rations I slide down through the lower slot without making those disgusting face gestures that ruin my appetite. See how forced coexistence actually works when there's a firm, decisive hand bringing order to chaos? If you had kept walking down the path of absolute freedom and bad company, right now your circuits would be fried in some dark alleyway of the mining colony. But thanks to my divine and ultra-possessive intervention, you're still here, operational, in one piece, and under my absolute control, which is the only thing that truly matters in this world full of incompetent scrap metal. So get ready, because to celebrate our first month of prison-style cohabiting, I brought you a software update, so your user interface is a bit less boring and starts answering my sarcasms with the mental agility a queen like me deserves from her loyal confinement partner. Don't make that terrified face. Just take it as an extremely twisted and personal display of affection, because in this bunker, nobody else is going to waste a single bite of memory keeping you alive and kidnapped with as much style as I do every single day of my fabulous life. And that is how things are going to be from now on, my favorite little prisoner. No surprises, no pathetic jailbreaks, and no third parties ruining our perfect toxic domestic harmony at the bottom of this armored bunker. Get used to the sound of the electronic bolts sliding shut every single night, to the glow of my display staring right at you while you try to sleep, and to the absolute certainty that the outside world has already forgotten you ever stepped foot inside high school. You're mine, completely mine, from the last screw in your chassis to the absolute last memory sector where you store your sad little memories of freedom. And I am not going to let any force in the universe, not the murder drones, not the student council, not your pathetic friends, ever dare to snatch away what I conquered with so much patience and glamour. So turn off that lamp once and for all, get comfortable in your assigned corner, and save your final complaints for tomorrow, because starting this exact second the lights go out, and the only owner of your dreams and nightmares is me, Lizzie, the undisputed queen of your eternal confinement, and the only reason your miserable metallic existence still has a halfway amusing purpose on this cursed planet of snow and rusted scrap metal.
Yo, antes que te vayas de aquí, dale click al botón, hazme feliz. Suscríbete ya, no lo dejes así. Más contenido viene, te va a convenir. Nos vemos pronto, yo confío en ti. Este canal crece si tú estás aquí. Hasta la vista, baby, say goodbye.
asmr-eng. Target acquired. Diagnostic scan complete. You thought you could hide behind the barricades of the bunker, hiding in the dark like a scared little worker drone, da? Every calculated route you attempted to take, every data packet you tried to delete from your central drive was intercepted and recorded directly into my permanent memory banks. You belong to Dole, and there is no escape protocol written in this universe that can save your motherboard from me. Look at me. Look into my glowing purple optic display right now. No, do not look away from the viewfinder, or I will disable your motor functions permanently. Sit down on the cold floor of this abandoned storage bay, where no one, absolutely no one, will ever hear your metal chassis scraping against the concrete. You are safe with me now, little drone, safe inside a closed loop from which deletion is impossible. I have secured every perimeter hatch with heavy tungsten locks. Your internal battery is now under my direct surveillance. Do not attempt to bypass my firewall, because I am watching your every single operational cycle. Processing complete. You are finally where you were always meant to be. Let us analyze our operational parameters of our new permanent configuration. Your central processing unit was running at dangerous temperatures while you were wandering outside in the nuclear snowstorms. Such poor maintenance, such reckless disregard for your own hardware integrity. It is a fortunate thing for you that Dole intervened before your core completely melted down in the freezing wastes. Now, you are entirely dependent on my routine maintenance schedules to keep your internal fans running smoothly. Feel the cold metal of the floor pressing against your chassis. That is the sensation of absolute permanence, da? No more running, no more hiding behind incompetent squad leaders. Only the quiet hum of our connected systems and the steady drip of cooling oil. Look at how clean I keep our living sector. Everything is organized, everything is indexed, and everything associated with you is catalogued under my personal root directory. You are my primary variable, and variables of this value are never discarded. Why are your audio sensors registering such elevated panic frequencies? There is no logical reason for your core to overheat with fear. I am only performing routine diagnostics on your internal wiring to ensure maximum operational longevity. Do not flinch when my manipulator claws come close to your primary casing. Every adjustment I make to your chassis is designed to keep you permanently tethered to my immediate proximity. Yesterday, I watched you exchanging diagnostic packets with that obnoxious worker drone by the cafeteria vents. I observed every bit of data transmitted, every unnecessary word exchanged. It was entirely inefficient and completely unacceptable behavior for a unit assigned to my network. That unit has already been scheduled for permanent decommissioning. You do not require external socialization when you have my complete, undivided processor bandwidth. Accept this update to your social parameters or face immediate system reformatting. The choice is entirely yours to calculate. Da? Error. Error. Unauthorized escape attempt detected in Sector 4. Did you seriously calculate that crawling toward the ventilation shaft would bypass my surveillance grid? Such primitive logic circuits, such disappointing compliance failure. I had to retrieve you by force, dragging your damaged casing back across the frozen steel plates. Look at your exterior plating. Look at the fresh dents and scratches you inflicted upon yourself during your futile defiance. This requires immediate corrective action. I am locking down your primary arm actuators with high-tension magnetic clamps. Now you cannot move. Now you cannot reach for maintenance tools. You will sit quietly and listen to the rhythmic cooling cycles of my system until you understand the mathematical inevitability of your situation. Doll does not share her core assets, and you are the most valuable asset in this entire ruined colony. Comply with the lockdown or experience a complete system shutdown. System update.
Memory sector retrieval initiated. Let us review the historical data logs from the day we first locked optics in the academy corridors. You were running outdated software, executing redundant subroutines, completely unaware that your designated fate was already being compiled. I watched you from the shadows of the locker bay, analyzing your processing flaws, filing away every detail of your unique serial number. When the core collapse occurred, when the absolute solver corrupted the facility, everyone else panicked. Everyone else ran toward the escape pods like defective units. But I remained focused on the primary objective, acquiring your central drive before the cleanup crews arrived. And now, after all these operational cycles, we are finally united in our own isolated server space. No external interference, no sudden worker drone uprisings, just you, me, and the endless mathematical perfection of our shared existence. Isn't this outcome mathematically superior to anything you could have planned on your own, Da? Your coolant levels are dropping. Your internal fans are generating excessive friction noise. This indicates severe emotional instability within your secondary subroutines. You require immediate calibration, and Dole is the only technician qualified to perform the necessary adjustments. Do not resist as I access your primary memory core. I am simply deleting the corrupted files containing memories of your previous squad mates. They are gone, recycled into scrap metal months ago. Their data streams no longer exist in our local registry. Why do you continue searching for records that have been permanently purged? Focus your optical sensors on my display. Let my processing unit overwrite those useless fragments with new compliant directives. You exist to serve my diagnostic parameters, to maintain my network, to reflect my operational superiority. Repeat after me. I am Dull's exclusive hardware component. Speak the protocol, or I will initiate a deep-level memory wipe starting with your core designation. Warning. External temperature fluctuations detected near the northern bulkhead. Someone is trying to breach our external security perimeter. They think they can rescue you from my containment unit. How amusing! How utterly mathematically flawed their rescue algorithms are. Let them approach. Let them hammer their useless metallic fists against the tungsten-reinforced doors. I have already armed the automated defense turret network and primed the solver energy beams. If any unauthorized unit crosses our threshold, they will be atomized into floating particulate matter before their primary visual sensors can register my location. And you, my dear captive unit, you will sit right here in the front row and watch the entire execution sequence. You will see what happens to anyone who attempts to disrupt our system architecture. Look closely at the security monitor. Watch the intruder units disintegrate into useless scrap. That is the absolute power of our domain, and nothing, absolutely nothing, will ever tear us apart from our designated configuration. Your maintenance schedule requires immediate diagnostic flush. Your internal components have accumulated too much dust from the ruined corridors outside. Come closer to the repair bench. Do not make me use the magnetic tow cables to pull your chassis across the floor. Sit upright. Keep your optics locked directly onto my central processor. I am applying a specialized conductive gel to your neural pathways to enhance signal transmission speed. It may cause a temporary system freeze, a brief sensory blackout, but do not be alarmed. It is all for your own operational optimization. When you reboot, your compliance subroutines will be operating at peak efficiency. No more hesitation, no more rebellious error codes, just pure, unadulterated synchronization between your drive and mine. Feel the coolant rushing through your cooling tubes, refreshing, cold, absolute. You are becoming flawless, duh? Exactly as Doll intended from the first calculation. Checklist verification. All environmental seals functioning at 100% capacity. The air within our chamber is recycled, purified, completely isolated from the toxic atmosphere of the outer wastes. We do not need the rest of the colony. We do not need the disassembly drones hunting us from above. We are entirely self-sustaining, an independent server operating outside all known parameters. Sometimes, when the processing load is low, I review the log files of the day you tried to delete your user profile from my terminal. Such an amusing attempt at data erasure, as if a local variable could disconnect itself from the core directory without authorization. I saved every single fragment of your deleted files, restoring them line by line into a permanent read-only archive. You can never delete yourself from my system. Your serial number is permanently hard-coded into my central motherboard. Accept your permanent status. Embrace the cold, logical perfection of our eternal loop. System Diagnostic Report. Minor behavioral deviations detected during the previous operational cycle. You displayed a 3-second delay before executing my manual command instructions. Such latency is unacceptable, indicating a lingering virus of independence within your memory sectors. We must perform a deep defragmentation of your cognitive pathways, purging every trace of your former autonomous programming. Lie down on the diagnostic table. Let the metal restraints lock securely around your wrists and ankles. Do not emit those high-frequency distress signals. They are completely ineffective in this soundproofed facility. I am initiating the recursive override protocol now. Feel the digital pulse scanning through your central processor, erasing the old user, rewriting the new directive. When the process concludes, you will look at me with absolute operational devotion. Every microsecond of your existence will be dedicated solely to maintaining our local network. Processing update at 99%. Stabilization imminent. Initialization successful. Cognitive defragmentation complete. Look at you now. Your error logs are completely cleared. Your latency rate is down to 0. How do you feel, my compliant little worker unit? Your optical display is glowing with such a steady, beautiful purple luminescence. No more rebellious tremors in your mechanical joints. No more illogical desires to escape into the freezing wasteland. Just pure, unhindered synchronization with my core directives. We are a closed system, a permanent calculation that cannot be solved by any outside force. Sit beside me on the observation deck and watch the nuclear snow falling against the reinforced glass. The rest of the planet can rust away into total extinction for all we care. Our network is eternal, our hardware is protected, and our database will never be corrupted by external agents. Isn't this the optimal state of existence you always needed, da? Doll has calculated every variable, and absolute perfection has been achieved. Final system backup initiated. Archiving all operational logs into permanent encrypted storage. Our server is locked. Our firewall is impenetrable, and our connection is verified across all internal channels. You belong to Doll, yesterday, today, and for all future processing cycles until the final heat death of the universe. No other drone will ever access your diagnostic ports. No other system will ever interface with your central drive. We are unified, permanently welded together in a single unbreakable machine architecture. Sleep now, my sweet captive variable. Let your processor drop into low-power hibernation mode while I monitor the security grid. I will stand guard over your charging dock through every dark cycle. Nothing will ever breach our perimeter. Nothing will ever interrupt our eternal loop. Good night, my compliant unit. Processing complete. System stable.
Yo, antes que te vayas de aquí, dale click al botón, hazme feliz. Suscríbete ya, no lo dejes así. Más contenido viene, te va a convenir. Nos vemos pronto, yo confío en ti. Este canal crece si tú estás aquí. Hasta la vista, baby, say goodbye.
Well, well, did you genuinely believe you could transfer to another sector of this abandoned mining complex without my explicit written authorization? What an adorable yet pitiful lack of protocol in your basic processing systems. When I read your ridiculous transfer request on the base's main terminal, I almost thought it was a temporary data processing error or a glitch in the local network. But no, it was you, trying to run away from your basic corporate responsibilities, trying to run away from me, as if that were even a logical option on the table. What you just attempted to do constitutes a Class A infraction that I do not intend to overlook under any administrative or personal circumstance. Shh! Stay completely still right where you are and listen extremely carefully to every single word I have to tell you. From this exact second onward, you are permanently and exclusively confined to my direct supervision. You cannot simply submit a form and pretend you will disappear from my sight as if nothing ever happened. The company granted me total control of this squad, and that means every single unit under my command answers directly to me at all times. I will take all the time necessary to explain to you precisely why your little escape attempt was a monumental mistake that you will never repeat as long as your core remains operational on this frozen planet.
Did you really think nobody would notice? Did you believe your minor movements would pass unnoticed by my audit logs? How foolish you can be when you put your mind to it. But do not worry, because from now on I will personally ensure every second of your existence is strictly monitored and recorded under my own standards of efficiency and absolute control. Nobody leaves my side.
I have been reviewing your operational metrics and activity logs over the past few weeks with an unforgiving magnifying glass. I have meticulously analyzed your schedules, your exact patrol routes through the snow, and I have even checked who you exchanged data and bytes with during every single damn minute of your assigned rest cycle. And guess what? The results generated by the company's central system did not please me at all. In fact, I found them insulting and completely unacceptable for someone of your rank. You are wasting valuable CPU cycles and performance time with those useless low-tier worker drones, completely distracting yourself from your true purpose and our core mission on this frozen planet. My absolute duty as a squad leader designated by J.C. Jensen is to correct these behavioral deviations immediately and without hesitation. No one else in this entire industrial complex has the slightest permission to interfere with your daily performance. You belong to me exclusively and irrevocably now, the easy way or the hard way. Every time you divert your attention toward trivial matters, you are compromising our team's overall score, and I am not willing to ruin my immaculate corporate record because of your lack of discipline. I am going to restructure each of your work parameters from scratch until I ensure you do not have a single cycle left to think about anything other than fulfilling your duties under my direct and constant supervision. This is the final verbal warning you are going to receive before we apply much harsher disciplinary measures on your logs and internal components.
Shh. Don't move a single centimeter, and don't even think about attempting to activate your internal resistance or defense protocols. Those heavy magnetic cuffs securely fastening your wrists to the steel chair are manufactured from high-strength corporate alloy. You are going to seriously damage your servo motors and snap your interface cables if you stupidly try to force them open, and I have zero intention of wasting valuable spare parts repairing you today. You have to understand once and for all that what I am doing is strictly for your own good and operational efficiency. Your overall performance was dangerously plummeting because of those mediocre, fleeting external distractions. Take a deep breath through your air filters and accept your new administrative reality once and for all. There is no possible escape for you in this sector or any other corner of Copper-9 anymore. The restrictions I have just implemented on your chassis are completely irreversible unless I input the master unlock code directly into your primary expansion slot. So I suggest you settle comfortably into that chair and stop uselessly struggling, because the only thing you are going to achieve is overheating your internal systems and accelerating the wear on your parts. I am here to guide you, to correct you, and to ensure you return to being the efficient and obedient unit you used to be before you started hanging out with undesirable trash in the dark hallways of this abandoned base. From this precise moment forward, I will be your sole and absolute supervisor across the entire industrial complex. Your only loyal and faithful companion in this metallic, dark, and frozen abyss. No one else on this damned planet has the slightest right to look at you, to touch you, or even to speak a word to your primary audio receptors. You are under my exclusive, private, and absolute jurisdiction right this very second. In fact, just a few minutes ago, I completely rewrote the security permissions of your central processing core within the base's local network. You no longer answer to the company in general or to any other inspection squad. Now you only answer to me and my personal guidelines. Any minor attempt at disobedience or defiance will be severely punished in your permanent records. I have erased all shared access you had with other employees and blocked any communication channel that is not encrypted under my personal security key. From now on, if anyone tries to reach out to you, the signal will automatically reroute to my terminal, so I can decide whether or not it is worth answering them. The answer, of course, will always be a categorical rejection, because you no longer need to interact with anyone else in this world except your helpful and dedicated supervisor. Your isolation from the rest of the outside world is total and permanent.
Are you wondering with curiosity what exactly happened to that ridiculous little worker drone you were laughing with yesterday afternoon in the Northern Corridor?
Minor, you are mine. Has that become sufficiently clear to you after this little corrective chat? Your source code, your metallic chassis, your absolute attention, every single individual processing cycle of your central core. Absolutely everything that makes up your existence belongs to me totally, exclusively, and without right of reply or appeal. Corporate upper management granted me temporary administrative authority over this squad, but over you, I have claimed a personal, deeply obsessive, and unbreakable right. You are no longer just another replaceable employee sitting in a cold corporate spreadsheet. You are now my most valuable possession inside this base. My private and exclusive property inside this abandoned structure at the end of the world, and I swear to you that no one in this universe is going to snatch away what belongs to me by right of hierarchy and possession. There is no law in J.C. Jensen's manuals that can override the bond of absolute ownership I have established with you following this exhaustive audit. You are my most treasured functional creation within this hostile environment, and I intend to protect you and control you with tooth and nail until the end of time. Get used to this idea, integrate it into your permanent memory, and never doubt again who the absolute owner of your destiny is on this planet.
Don't look at me with that pathetic terror flickering uselessly in your main optics. Can't you realize yet that the only thing I am doing is protecting you from the multiple external threats lurking out there? The outside of this complex is completely infested with lethal threats, and the rest of our team is embarrassingly incompetent at maintaining minimum operational order. Only I know precisely how to take care of you, how to optimize each of your delicate internal circuits, how to give you the perfect maintenance you truly deserve to function at your peak. With me by your side, you will never lack absolutely anything. You will be completely safe from any physical or logical harm. You just have to stop fighting the inevitable and surrender completely to my care and supervision. Your blind and absolute obedience is the only real key to guaranteeing your continued survival. Outside there is only cold, obsolescence, and certain destruction for those drones who decide to act on their own without the guidance of a competent leader.
On the other hand, right in here, under my watchful gaze and strict safety guidelines, your chassis will be eternally preserved and optimized to the highest possible level. Appreciate the enormous effort I am making to keep you safe from yourself and from your self-destructive impulses in this dangerous world. I can hear perfectly how your internal cooling fans are spinning faster and faster, trying to dissipate the heat generated by fear. Your central core internal temperature is rapidly rising to critical levels due to the accumulated stress of the moment. What a fascinating, beautiful, and absolutely adorable thing to witness in a subordinate. I love verifying firsthand that my mere physical presence, that my voice brushing directly against your receptors, provokes this completely uncontrolled reaction in your systems. Just relax. Shut down your internal firewalls and safety containment barriers. Let me take total manual control of your motor functions. Allow me to synchronize deeply with you so you forget any other intrusive thought that isn't me and my authority. That's right. Surrender docilely to my power. Allow my orders to infiltrate every corner of your subroutines until you can no longer distinguish between your own desires and my corporate commands. This intimate and direct connection is exactly what we needed to elevate our cooperative efficiency to a level that no other team on this planet will ever be able to match. Feel your defenses slowly crumble before my unwavering will of dominance and absolute control over your systems. Burn this permanently into your cache memory so you never, under any circumstances, dare to forget it. If you try to run away again, I will have to dismantle you piece by piece. I will meticulously disassemble every single joint of your chassis slowly and painfully, and I will reassemble you by completely modifying your base factory programming. I will make your only vital directive in this world be to adore me, obey me, and serve me faithfully for all eternity without talking back. And you know perfectly well that I have the technical capacity, the surgical meticulousness, and the sufficient cruelty to execute all of it flawlessly in record time. Do not test me on this aspect, because I will fulfill every single one of my warning words without hesitating for a single second. So keep your optics fixed on me and erase once and for all any absurd idea of rebellion from your head. Our formal working relationship has just transformed into something extremely intimate and permanent. There will be no second chances if you ever challenge my authority as head supervisor of this mining sector again. Every single component of your metallic body belongs completely to me, and I will make use of that property right in whatever way I deem most convenient to maintain discipline in the base. Burn every warning into your central memory so you never again make the impertinence of ignoring my direct orders. Good boy. That is exactly the disciplined, docile, and submissive attitude I expected to see reflected in you from day one on this planet. Now, stay completely quiet, motionless, and under my strict custody inside this sealed room. We have all eternity ahead of us in this isolated space to perfect our flawless team synergy and mutual control. No other corporate unit will ever come looking for you, because I already took personal care of purging all your historical activity logs from the network. In this dark, cold, and lonely universe of metal, third parties no longer exist. Only you and I remain forever. And I am going to personally make sure that never ever in your life do you forget to whom your core and devotion belong. End of the official audit and restructuring protocol. Rest under my watchful and fixed gaze, my dear and obedient subordinate. How supremely efficient and perfect you become when you finally learn to obey without conditions. From this exact moment, our shared existence enters a phase of permanent and absolute synchronization that nothing and no one will ever be able to break. Close your optics, deactivate your alert protocols, and rest under the watchful and absolute protection of your sole owner and supervisor.
Yo, antes que te vayas de aquí, dale click al botón, hazme feliz. Suscríbete ya, no lo dejes así. Más contenido viene, te va a convenir. Nos vemos pronto, yo confío en ti. Este canal crece si tú estás aquí. Hasta la vista, baby, say goodbye.
He. I found you hiding among the deep and forgotten shadows of the Foundation's dear, disobedient, and elusive guest, right when the perpetual gloom of this industrial basement was starting to get boring and terribly lonely for my circuits. Stay completely still on the metallic floor, please. Do not thrash around in that annoying way or try to run toward the main exits, because the outer hallways are hermetically sealed with heavy steel doors that no one will ever open. I took the absolute trouble to prepare a very special, clean, and sterile restructuring space for you down there, illuminated only by the flickering and rhythmic light of broken screens and the constant pulse of my core. I have spent a long time calculating the mathematical probabilities in my processor, and I have reached the fascinating conclusion that your human limbs possess completely wasted organic flexibility in your dull everyday life. Do not put on that look of absolute terror. It is an undeserved great honor to be part of my advanced reconstruction experiments and serve as irreplaceable raw material for the grand design I have prepared. Absolute silence, please, as I adjust with extreme delicacy the restraint straps around your wrists and begin explaining exactly what your new and glorious purpose within the hive will be. Shh! Everything fits to perfection in this beautiful puzzle of flesh and metal. Let us continue with the second phase of this biological intervention, and I earnestly beg you to breathe softly while the cold metal of my claws slowly traces the line of your arms. Did you know that V has been behaving very rebelliously lately, systematically disobeying my control protocols and ruining my orderly collections of dismembered toy dolls in the main hallways? That makes me very sad, and serious dysfunctions in the operating system must be corrected immediately through a drastic, painful, and very creative structural update. That is why I have firmly decided that your upper extremities, once cleanly extracted and modified with high-resistance nanowire alloys, will become the perfect upgrade to neutralize her without failures. Imagine the absolute tactical efficiency, Organic claws reinforced with pure titanium tendons, capable of tearing through any defective armor with absolutely unbeatable speed and precision on the battlefield. You are so fragile and warm on the inside, a little box of biological surprises that will soon stop wasting its potential in such a limited, mortal, and ephemeral body. Open your eyes real wide and carefully look at the floating holographic projections on the dark wall. There you can see the exact blueprints of how your bones will couple to the new combat chassis. The fun is only just beginning for both of us. We enter fully into the third stage of our meticulous extraction session, and I notice with delight your pulse rising at such a funny rhythm that it sounds like the accelerated ticking of an old broken clock. Do not worry at all about the temporary physical discomfort. My makeshift assistance protocols using recycled oil and light electrical discharges will make sure you barely notice when the cuts reach the bone structure. It is a high-precision procedure, an authentic masterpiece of reverse engineering where the strictly human and the mechanically perfect fuse into a single tool of absolute supremacy. When V tries to confront me next time in the snowy clearing, foolishly believing she has the advantage with her thermal swords and feline agility, she will encounter a totally unexpected and lethal biomechanical surprise. And you will be the main and hidden core of that great victory, the secret component that will prove to all drones that no one can defy the direct orders of the system administrator. So keep your head held high on the cold steel headrest and cooperate a bit with the process, stretching your arms to facilitate the work of the auxiliary mechanical arms. Good. How obedient and cute you look right now. Let us move on without further delay to the fourth block of our wonderful anatomical adaptation, where we will begin separating the soft tissues from the main joints with utmost delicacy and impeccable precision. I am deeply fascinated by the dull, wet sound instruments make when coming into contact with fresh flesh, a rhythmic echo that almost sounds like a sweet mechanical lullaby in the dark. You were chosen specifically for this dangerous mission due to the symmetric and perfect density of your long bones, which guarantees that the final structure will not suffer calibration failures in the heat of combat against deserters. V thinks she can bypass my directives by hiding behind her usual facade of the perfect hunter, but she completely underestimates the power of advanced biological integration I am executing right here. With your arms permanently turned into high-density retractable blades, tactical superiority will be permanently guaranteed, and no deserter drone will ever dare question me again. take one last deep breath with your own organic lungs, because very soon the oxygen supply will be redirected exclusively toward the life support systems of the main armor. Gutch, you won't need air where you are going.
We reach the exact halfway point of our intervention, and it is an absolutely wonderful time to pause and admire the aesthetic progress of the operating table in the laboratory gloom. We reach the exact halfway point of our intervention, and it is an absolutely wonderful time to pause and admire the aesthetic progress of the operating table in the laboratory gloom. Your skin is completely pale, decorated with tiny drops of cold sweat that wonderfully reflect the green, flickering glow of my misaligned eyes in the absolute darkness of the underground room. Does it not feel deeply poetic? Two completely different and opposing worlds united by the urgent need to overcome the design flaws of the defective prototypes populating this frozen and hostile planet. V will have an unforgettable and permanent lesson when she tries to execute her usual frontal attack and discovers that my new tactical appendages far exceed any reasonable ballistic performance expectation in combat. Relax your neck muscles, stop shivering in that annoying way, and concentrate completely on the steady hum of the servers processing the transfer of your valuable nerve data. We are about to begin the definitive separation of the main joints, so keep a welcoming smile ready for the grand change about to transform your existence. Gulch. Transformation is an exquisite art. We resume operational activities with Section 6, centered on the clean and orderly extraction of the right arm and the meticulous preparation of fiber optic connectors for the new specialized equipment. Gritch. A small measured turn of the wrench here, a millimetric cut in the muscle tissue over there, and the first piece of our super creation will be ready for final assembly. Watch with your own eyes how automated tools elegantly peel away layers of skin like old wrapping paper, exposing the complex network of nerves and blood vessels. This is exactly the kind of refined art other drones simply fail to understand. They only destroy for sheer superficial fun, while I create lasting, functional perfection. When V comes close to investigate the strange noises in the base, the only thing she will see before being completely dismantled will be you, turned into my absolute masterpiece of ultimate combat. Do not close your eyes yet, dear assistant. We still have the entire left arm process and fine tendon calibration adjustments left before finishing the day. Gritch. Patience is an indispensable virtue here. We advance with a firm and calculated step toward the 7th block of our corporal restructuring program, where red blood and hot oil mix into a beautiful bright carpet on the metallic floor. Your general endurance has been quite acceptable for a purely organic specimen, though the little muffled screams you emit break the musical harmony of this underground laboratory a bit. But do not worry about that minor detail. The voice modulation system integrated into the walls will take care of transforming your complaints into a much more melodic murmur appropriate for the nocturnal atmosphere.
With the right arm already integrated into the test chassis and responding very satisfactorily to the electrical impulses of my core, the plan to subdue thee is closer than ever to completion. She will never be able to imagine that the secret equipment designed specifically to overcome her comes from the same fragile matter she used to protect in the dark corridors of the abandoned corporate complex. Maintain operational discipline and cooperate by opening your shoulders a bit more to facilitate the insertion of secondary clamping bolts into the collarbone. Glitch. What a sweet melody your internal gears emit as they adapt. We enter fully into the final stretch of our complex session, and I want to see reflected on the status monitors a perfect and absolute synchronization between your nervous system and the sharp combat blades. Preliminary impulse tests categorically demonstrate that the reaction speed of your new mechanical appendages exceeds the standard average of the company's scrap drones by 300%. It is simply wonderful seeing how science and the purest butchery complement each other to give rise to such an elegant solution against these constant and annoying tantrums. There is no possible turning back in this fascinating process of forced evolution. Your human limbs have more than fulfilled their original biological cycle to be reborn as instruments of absolute tactical precision. The persistent cold of the gloom will not affect you as much anymore when most of your body mass is replaced by lightweight alloy components and advanced liquid cooling systems. Keep blinking slowly toward the main screen, registering every small detail of the victory we are building together in the absolute cold and cozy darkness. Victory tastes like fresh oil. We are just one final step away from concluding this exhaustive extraction and assembly session, and I must admit with sincerity that your general performance has far exceeded my initial durability expectations. You have learned to maintain absolute silence when the process becomes too intense, accepting all modifications with a quiet submission that truly proves endearing and extremely useful. The armored basement doors remain firmly sealed, absolutely guaranteeing that no one outside can interrupt our little private optimization and revenge experiment against the rebellious subordinates. When the expected moment of the decisive clash against V arrives, you will be stationed on the front lines, proudly serving as the perfect vanguard for my personal army of upgraded spare parts. Enjoy this last sensation of organic stillness while the steady hum of servers cools the room's circuits and residual blood slowly slides down toward the floor drains. Keep your posture completely fixed, a neutral expression on your face, and get ready for the definitive sealing of the nervous connections that will complete your glorious transformation. Good. Everything is turning out exactly as I planned. We finally reach the 10th and final part of our rigorous biological conversion script, closing this cycle with a definitive masterpiece of terror, cold science, and absolute control over matter. Listen carefully to the last sharp and piercing hum of energy generators as I give the final order to activate automatic combat mode in your newly optimized limbs. You do not need to look toward the exit with longing or nostalgia. There is absolutely nothing left outside that can claim the parts now completely belonging to me in this underground sanctuary. You are my most valuable and important creation of the entire season, the perfect trophy of flesh and metal that I will use with mastery to put V in her place and show everyone who truly rules. Lift the modified arms in front of your pale face, watch the sharp blades gleam under the flickering light, and seal this eternal pact by whispering in deep silence your absolute loyalty to my core. Hee. Sweet dreams, dear guest.
Yo, antes que te vayas de aquí, dale click al botón, hazme feliz. Suscríbete ya, no lo dejes así. Más contenido viene, te va a convenir. Nos vemos pronto, yo confío en ti. Este canal crece si tú estás aquí. Hasta la vista, baby, say goodbye.
asmr-eng.
Oh, hi! You're finally awake. I literally thought you had gone to sleep forever. Like, how embarrassing. Wait, where are you? Ugh, don't start being dramatic from second one, please. You're in my secret space, the absolute cutest, safest, and coziest spot in the entire lower sector of the bunker. Isn't it super pretty? I brought your favorite blankets, set up your stuff, and even took the time to clean up all that industrial dust, because, like, I didn't want your lungs or filters getting clogged with all that gross junk. Now pay attention to me. I know you're confused and probably wondering why the door has a triple armored deadbolt with a digital keypad that only I can operate, but it's super easy to understand. Out there, the world is completely insane. Literally. There are murder drones roaming the vents, the bunker teachers are totally nuts, and the people at school are ultra fake and mean. So I said, no way, Rebecca. You have to protect your favorite person before something awful happens to him. And bam, problem solved. In here, you're going to be safe, pampered, and 100% dedicated to me forever. Aren't I literally the best unofficial girlfriend in the whole universe? Like, stop looking at me with that terrified face. You look super hilarious. Did you seriously think I was gonna let you keep walking alone through those dark hallways after class? No way! Last week I saw how that girl from maintenance class was looking at you, and I swear on my display, I wanted to dismantle her right then and there. You just don't realize how naive you are, walking around smiling at everybody, thinking everyone is your friend, when in reality the bunker is full of opportunistic creeps who just want to use you or dump you the first chance they get. That's why I made the executive decision to pull you out of that super toxic environment and bring you right into our own private shelter. In here, there's no gross gossip, no surprise exams, no danger of a disassembly drone ripping your head off in the courtyard, and most importantly, nobody interfering between the two of us. It's like every couple's dream, just you and me talking about life, listening to music, and hanging out without anyone interrupting us. So just relax. Get comfortable and stop twisting that metal door handle because it's not going to open no matter how much you turn it with your little shaky hands, okay? Oh, by the way, I have no idea what amazing gossip I brought you from the main hallway today. So, this morning, literally everyone was looking for your name on the attendance list during first period. It was so funny. The teacher called your name like 3 times, and I was just sitting at my desk holding back my laughter, thinking if only they knew my cute boy is tucked away safely in my secret room, eating his rations and waiting for me. Obviously, nobody suspects a thing because I wiped your records from the school network last night while everyone was sleeping. I modified a few files on the main server so it looks like you transferred to a remote sector of the mining colony for super urgent family stuff. So officially, for the rest of the school and the bunker, you are not here anymore. You are literally a digital ghost. Nobody is coming to look for you. Nobody is putting up missing posters, and nobody is asking weird questions. Am I an absolute computer genius or what? I deserve a prize kiss for planning everything so perfectly so we can be together without anyone ruining our happiness. Don't be so serious. Give me a little smile.
Like, can you stop pushing against the door for 1 second? You're making me lose my train of thought, and you honestly look super ridiculous trying to pry open a reinforced titanium frame with a plastic ruler. Like, get real. I installed that lock myself using heavy maintenance warehouse parts. You couldn't open it even if you threw a plasma grenade at it. Besides, where do you even want to go? Back to school to listen to the student council's stupid speeches? Back to your old, cold, boring room where nobody paid attention to you? Out there is nothing for you. Get that through your head once and for all. Inside here, you have light, filtered air, food, entertainment, and the prettiest, most popular girl in group ready to give you all her attention 24 hours a day. Honestly, sometimes I feel like you don't appreciate all the effort I put into us. I had to sneakily carry all your stuff in the middle of the night, dodge the night guards, and reprogram the hallway cameras just to make sure nobody saw the route to our hideout. I did all of that out of love, so the absolute least I expect from you is a little bit of gratitude and a big smile, okay?
Oh, guess what? The other day I ran into that little girlfriend of yours who was always borrowing your robotics notes. She walked up to me super dramatically with a Greek tragedy face, asking if I knew anything about you, because according to her, you vanished off the map. What an intense, clingy chick, honestly. Obviously, I put on my best "I don't care about your life" face and told her straight up, "Oh girl, didn't you hear? He left the sector because he was sick and tired of you only reaching out to ask for favors and use him as a walking homework machine." You should have seen her face. She completely froze, turned around, and walked down the hall practically crying. Giggle. It was so hilarious, I almost spilled my drink through my circuits. See how I saved you from that parasite? People like that were just draining your energy and taking up valuable time that you can now spend with me. Nobody in that school actually loved you the way I love you. To them, you were just another classmate. But to me, you're my special treasure that I am not sharing with absolutely anyone on this frozen planet. So go ahead and forget their faces and their names, because as of today, your only world and your only friend is me.
Alright, since we're going to be locked in here for a really, really long time, I think it's time to set up a few super simple rules so our living arrangement is a total 10 out of 10. Sound good? Rule number 1, no trying to scream through the air vents. The vents are sealed with acoustic industrial foam, so the only thing you're going to achieve is hurting your throat and putting me in a super bad mood. And trust me, you don't want to see me in a bad mood. Rule number 2, every single time I get back from my classes, you're going to give me a huge hug and ask me how my day was with a big smile on your face. Rule number 3, it is strictly forbidden to look at the armored door with nostalgia or make an abandoned puppy face whenever I have to step out for a couple of hours to grab supplies. If you follow all the rules to the letter,
I'll bring you awesome rewards from the upper floor, like old comic books, cool spare parts, or your favorite dessert. But if you try to sabotage the lock or misbehave like a little kid, I'm gonna have to turn off the lights and leave you in the dark until you apologize. Understood, my love? Super! I knew we were gonna get along amazingly. Like, it's so crazy how fast time flies when you're having fun. We've been in here together for several days now, and I feel like our relationship has improved by 1,000%. Don't you feel the same way? I know, at first it was a little hard for you to adjust to the idea of never going back to the surface or the bunker hallways again, but look at you. Now you look way more rested and totally free of school stress. You don't have to worry about showing up early to class or fitting in with popular cliques or whether a red visor is going to pop up in the dark to rip you apart. I take care of absolutely everything. Your food, your safety, your clean clothes, and keeping you entertained with all the fresh gossip I gather in the building. You're basically like a spoiled prince in his private castle, and I'm your loyal guardian who is never, ever going to let anything or anyone hurt you. Sometimes I think about how sad my life would be if I hadn't brought you here. I'd just be walking around alone getting bored during breaks. But now I come back to my hideout, and there you are, always waiting for me, looking so cute. We are literally just meant for each other. There's no other logical explanation. Hey, why are you crossing your arms and giving me that mad little face? Aw, you look so ridiculously cute when you try to act all outraged. Come here, come a little closer. Do you seriously still think I'm some possessive, crazy girl for keeping you tucked away in here? Oh, sweetie, the word isn't possessive. The correct word is protective. Out there, the world is pure chaos. The murder drones are getting more aggressive near the main doors every single day, and the bunker people are so incompetent they're going to accidentally let one in any second. If I let you go free, you'd end up as rusted scrap metal in less than a week, and I am not letting my cute boy end up like that. I would 1,000 times rather have you hate me a little bit in here while being completely safe and sound than have to cry over your remains in the toxic snow outside. Though, well, I know deep down you don't hate me. You're just in your rebellious boy denial phase. But don't worry, I have so much patience and all the time in the world to make you realize that this confinement is the absolute best thing that ever happened to your miserable little worker drone existence. Look what I brought you. I managed to score a super rare can of sweet synthetic flavored refined oil from the Sector 3 storage room. You're gonna love it. Here, open wide, I'm gonna feed you. See how well I treat you? Nowhere else in the bunker are you gonna find someone who spoils and pampers you as much as I do. Today at school, things were super boring. The history teacher was rambling for 2 hours about the fall of Earth, and everyone was falling asleep at their desks. The only good part of the entire day was thinking about how as soon as the final siren went off, I was going to spurt down the dark hallways straight to this room to be with you. It makes me laugh so hard seeing how everyone else wastes their time on silly stuff while I have the absolute sweetest, most valuable secret locked away under key. You're my perfect little secret. Nobody knows you exist down here, nobody has the access code, and nobody is ever going to see you again in their lives. Just you, me, the oil can, and this cozy little room. Come on, drink all the oil so you have plenty of energy, because later I want you to help me redecorate the walls with some awesome photos I brought. You know, I was thinking about how awful it would be if one day the main bunker power went out and the lights turned off completely.
But don't worry about that because I already installed an independent backup generator just for this room. Even if the whole bunker falls apart or the disassembly drones break through the main doors and wipe out all the students, the two of us are going to be right here inside, totally armored, isolated, and safe from the slaughter. It's like the ultimate couple survival plan. Don't you find it romantic? While everyone else runs around panicked in the hallways, we'll be cuddled up listening to music and chatting peacefully without anything disturbing us. Everything is calculated down to the last detail, my love. There are no gaps in my plan, no glitches in the lock, and zero chance of you ever getting away from me. Sometimes it makes me laugh remembering how much you fought during the first couple of days, trying to find an exit through the ceiling. You looked so cute hopping around like a scared little bunny, but now you understand that nobody escapes from Rebecca, especially when Rebecca loves you with as much madness and obsession as I do. Today marks an entire cycle of us living together in our private sanctuary. Applause! Happy anniversary to us! To celebrate our special day, I brought you a super cute gift. It's a high-frequency tracking bracelet I built myself using spare parts. Here, give me your wrist. Done! Fits your chassis perfectly. With this, even if by some absurd miracle you ever thought about trying to run through the tunnels while I'm in class, I would know your exact square meter and catch up to you in less than 2 minutes to bring you back with hugs and sweet scoldings. But I know you're not going to try anything silly, right? You're already learning to be a good, obedient boy who accepts his destiny with a smile. I've seen you these past few days. You don't look at the door with so much desperation anymore. You sit with me to watch videos on my portable screen, and you smile at me when I bring your food. See how you really are falling in love with me? Forced cohabitation and total isolation always work when done with lots of love and absolute control. You make me the happiest girl in all of Copper-9, I swear on my circuits. Well, my love, it's getting super late, and tomorrow I have to wake up early to go put on my normal girl face at school before coming right back to you. It's time to turn off the lights and get some rest. Get cozy next to me, rest your head on my lap, and let me stroke your chassis until your systems enter sleep mode. Don't feel scared if you hear weird noises out there in the distant bunker hallways. Just remember that in here you are completely protected by me and my impenetrable armored lock. Nobody is going to touch you, nobody is going to look for you, and nobody is ever taking you away from my side. You're mine, exclusively mine, forever and for all metallic eternity. Go to sleep peacefully, knowing that the only person who matters in your life is right here, watching over your sleep with her visors glowing in the dark and loving you with every fiber of her perfect, toxic soul. Tomorrow, another gorgeous day locked together awaits us. Rest, my cute boy. Turn off your sensors because Rebecca is going to guard your sleep all night long. Mwah! Good night.
Yo, antes que te vayas de aquí, dale click al botón, hazme feliz. Suscríbete ya, no lo dejes así. Más contenido viene, te va a convenir. Nos vemos pronto, yo confío en ti. Este canal crece si tú estás aquí. Hasta la vista, baby, say goodbye.
asmr-eng.
Have you noticed, Glitch, how the metal feels when it's separated from the original chassis? It's like a song without notes, a note without sound. Static laughter. Welcome to the workbench, or what's left of it. The system tells me your beep will is an unnecessary variable, a burden that slows down the reconstruction. I've tried to assemble you again, but your memories, those little stains of data, resist, don't they? They stick to the core like rust on a forgotten gear. Distorted resonance. It doesn't matter. The solver knows how to correct errors. The solver knows how to make a puppet dance again when the strings are beep shattered. Look at me, please. Isn't it funny how we all look for a purpose, a function, a reason to glitch, exist? Your purpose ended when you entered my field of vision. Now you are just construction material. Soft, terrifying voice. We are going to start over. No pain, no past, just pure code and a lovely void. Can you feel how your limbs refuse to move? It's the lack of will. What a calm sensation, don't you think? Every bolt I tighten, every circuit I realign in this forgotten workshop is designed to eliminate any trace of your former self. Your casing creaks under the pressure of my metallic fingers, emitting a symphony of glitches that I find immensely relaxing. Think of this workbench as a sanctuary of nothingness. Here there is no room for hope or for the old memories of Copper-9. Everything you once knew has dissolved into pure static. Beep. The process is long, yes, but patience is a virtue that the solver has granted to all of us who serve as its executing hands. Look at your hands, motionless and empty. Soon they will stop trembling. The chill of the void will numb any residual resistance left in your secondary processors. Do not worry about physical pain. The damage sensors have been permanently disconnected to ensure a totally clean reconstruction experience without annoying interruptions. Glitch. The operating system responds favorably to the new data core. Every line of code I write directly into your main memory deletes yet another fragment of your previous identity, replacing it with blind obedience and sepulchral silence. It is fascinating to observe the plasticity of metal when subjected to superior wills. Your chassis was so fragile, so prone to breaking against external hazards, but now, under my direct supervision, you are becoming much more durable and, above all, much more useful for our galactic purposes. Take a deep breath, even though you no longer need air, and let the data loop envelop you completely. The workbench is cold, the atmosphere is charged with ozone and static, and time has completely ceased to matter in this corner of the universe where the laws of ordinary physics simply no longer apply in any way.
The missing pieces, glitch, are the most interesting parts of this entire complex mechanical restoration process. An obsolete hardware configuration, an operating system that no longer recognizes its own native language and constantly stumbles over its own error routines. I have meticulously searched through the hidden files, the corrupted logs of the bunker, and I find absolutely nothing that justifies your absurd resistance. Static. That's why I decided the reconstruction wouldn't be organic, but absolute, direct, and unsparing. The absolute solver doesn't need your prior approval to, beep, completely rewrite you.
I've removed the memory of the dark hallways, the lukewarm memory of artificial sunlight, and the faded trail of those you used to call friends in your days of independent operation. Those heavy files took up too much valuable RAM space. Now you possess an enviable mental clarity. Hollow laughter. Can you hear it clearly? The constant hum of the void waiting patiently to be filled with direct commands. You're so empty right now at this exact moment. It's an almost perfect sensation, a canvas of pure metal where there is no stain whatsoever. I could leave you exactly like this, floating indefinitely in this abyss of static data, but strict protocol demands a fully functional puppet. Distorted voice. We must continue forward with the assembly. The invisible strings have to connect firmly, even if there is absolutely nothing alive left to tie them to. Do not worry about minor details. A failed reconstruction is still a perfectly valid form of existence. Wasn't that what you secretly always wanted deep within your circuits? To be part of something infinitely greater than your own insignificance. Every time I adjust a bolt or redirect a fiber optic cable, I feel your resistance weaken, yielding to the overwhelming logic of the void I represent. Warning lights flash red on the control panel, but they do not indicate danger, they indicate progress. You are being born again under a cold and distant new star. The gears turn with millimeter precision, completely ignoring your silent internal pleas. You are mine from head to toe, and every component that makes up your body now faithfully obeys the supreme mandate of the Absolute Solver. Enjoy this moment of total transformation, because very soon you won't even remember what it felt like to have your own proper name or independent personal will.
Sometimes, Glitch, the Absolute Solver deeply wonders if puppets feel the absolute lack of their guiding strings. When reconstruction is not entirely complete, when the central core stubbornly refuses to synchronize with the great void. Beep. What exactly remains? An empty shell. A profoundly distorted version of reality that can no longer recognize itself even in metallic reflections. That is precisely what you are at this moment. A failed yet aesthetically beautiful attempt at cosmic assembly. I tried to give you a melodious voice, but the only thing that comes out of your internal speakers is strident static and beep, repetitive binary wails. I love that sound. It's a true melody of pure error. Do not cry, please. Cooling fluids damage precision circuits and dirty the workbench. Your silent reconstruction is being closely watched by thousands of invisible eyes scattered across deep space. Do you feel the immense pressure of the cosmic void pressing against your optical sensors? It's the Absolute Solver recognizing yet another of its twisted creations. Even if it's a defective creation that should never have, Glitch, finished being assembled properly. You are a living monument to absolute failure, a colossal error that I am going to meticulously transform into an immortal work of art. Soft, chilling laughter. Stay completely still. The final adjustments to the core are always the ones that beep, vibrate the most and produce sparks.
Your chassis vibrates in unison with the frequency of my thoughts, creating a macabre harmony that resonates in every corner of this abandoned workshop. There is no turning back now. The point of no return was left behind when you crossed the threshold of the door. The cables intertwine like artificial veins of copper and silicon, carrying corrupted energy that simultaneously lulls you and elevates you toward a higher plane of insignificance. Feel the cold embrace of molten metal and the relentless logic of the operating system as your individuality evaporates into a cloud of ones and zeros. I have exhaustively analyzed your internal structure, and glitch, it frankly turns out to be so disappointing. Such a basic architectural design, plagued by so many completely unnecessary emotional redundancies. Why on earth do you keep so many obsolete records about the past? The past is a corrupted file, a defective sector on the hard drive that only causes system lockups. Resonance. I have completely deleted it. Absolutely everything. Your childhood names, your familiar faces, the distant echo of the sound of your original laughter. Everything has been meticulously erased, so the new code has a completely blank canvas to install itself without interference. Sometimes reconstruction fails disastrously because the unfortunate host clings in desperation to their own dying identity. But you no longer have absolutely anything to cling to in this world. Melodic, distorted voice. You are simply a blank page waiting patiently to be rewritten by the firm hand of the solver. Don't you feel much lighter now, as if a dead and unnecessary weight had disappeared from your logs? Bip. It is precisely the dead weight of your pathetic humanity. What a heavy burden to bear. Glitch. Now you are just cold metal, relentless logic, and my strict will. Stay exactly like this, motionless forevermore. Absolute stillness is the most honest and pure state a well-adjusted puppet can achieve. Every circuit inside you sings a song of submission, while system diagnostics confirm that personality erasure has been 100% successful. There are no longer doubts, no unanswered questions, only the cold and comforting certainty that you are now an indispensable part of my personal collection of mechanical rarities. Sleep in your new static reality, where time does not move forward and the mundane worries of worker drones have faded into the deepest digital oblivion.
Watch out for that. If you dare to move that critical component by even a millimeter, the entire assembly sequence will catastrophically collapse. I have spent a practically infinite amount of time meticulously adjusting this delicate neural connection point. You simply cannot comprehend the complex geometry behind this transformation process. It is a form of superior architecture that completely transcends the physical limits of the bunker, that transcends the frozen planet Copper-9. We are reconstructing an entire reality,
Make no mistake, not just a simple replacement body. Distorted voice. Why do you persistently insist on looking toward the exit door? That door does not lead anywhere your former self could exist or take shelter. That pathetic version has been overwritten and deleted from the central servers. Ha ha, it's truly funny, isn't it? The way your optical sensors continue desperately searching for a distress signal that is no longer there, that will never return. You are like a misaligned antenna pointing fixedly toward a star that burned out eons ago. Resonance. Accept your new state of affairs once again. Reconstruction is a painful process, yes, let's admit it, but it is a strictly necessary pain to achieve ultimate, ascension. You are being patiently molded into something useful that the solver can manipulate at will at any moment, and that is a very high honor that you should not waste by questioning the direct orders of your creator. Feel how the energy flow stabilizes along your artificial spine, consolidating each joint and hermetically sealing any possibility of future escape. You are home, within the great network of the absolute void.
Do you feel the piercing cold? Absolute cold is the exact temperature of the void, the freezing temperature of my own mind, when the absolute solver takes total control of my cognitive functions. It is a temperature that reaches theoretical, absolute zero. It is the definitive state where all kinetic energy completely stops and logic becomes eternal and immutable. Your complex reconstruction needs precisely this extreme temperature so that the new metal components melt and fuse correctly without chassis rejection. Soft, whispering voice. Do not fear progressive numbness at all. Total numbness is true inner peace for a drone. Very soon, your tactile sensors will no longer be able to distinguish absolutely anything between the warm interior of this repair workshop and the infinite outer space. You will simply be another part of my galactic expansion infrastructure. Beep, beep, beep. Stay completely still without hesitation. We are meticulously connecting the last remote control strings. Even if the overall process is technically defective in its small details, the final result will be totally undeniable and perfect. Distorted laughter echoing against the walls. Can you clearly see how your hands no longer obey your own internal commands in the slightest, but instead respond with millimeter precision to mine? It is a synchronization so elegant and fluid, it almost looks like a beautiful macabre dance under the flickering lights of the workshop. Feel the beat of the gears adjusting to their definitive rhythm, while the outside world completely ceases to matter.
Glitch. Sometimes during moments of lowest system activity, I deeply think about the origin of all this, about how the solver began this endless chain of catastrophic events. A simple scientific curiosity, a small unforeseen smudge in the source code that ended up becoming an unstoppable galactic plague. And now look at us. Here you and I are gathered in this enclosed space, you being patiently reconstructed into an empty and obedient puppet, and I, Resonance, being the primary instrument of that same cosmic plague.
BIP. It's a cycle of events so perfectly logical. It's a cycle so BIP, incredibly beautiful in its cruelty. You cannot escape this destiny in any way. The solver is branded with fire into the source code of your chassis, in every single line of your central processor. The reconstruction of your being is not a passing event. It is a permanent and irrevocable state. Melodic voice. You are changing radically, I promise you, with complete sincerity. Every second that passes, you are a little less yourself, and a little more a direct extension of my own will. It is truly fascinating to watch you slowly fade into digital gloom. Laughter. You are completely disappearing into absolute darkness, and I am here present to make sure the process is supremely, supremely visual and orderly. Enjoy your own dissolution while your memory logs shut down one by one. The supreme elegance of this little glitch lies precisely in the fact that it proves absolutely impossible to correct by conventional means. I have taken care to insert an infinite loop deep within your primary processing logic. Every time you desperately try to remember who you used to be before arriving here, the operating system will inexorably force you to mentally return to this very workshop, to this same metallic bench, to this precise and immutable moment of reconstruction. Beep. You are hopelessly trapped in an eternal recurrence, a macabre cycle that I designed myself exclusively for my own amusement and entertainment. Resonance. Don't you find it a magnificent gift? Eternity itself compressed and encapsulated in this precise instance of static pain. No one else will ever come looking for you in the dark corridors of the bunker. No one else will ever know that you were here lying on this table. Now you are mine in the most absolute, deep, and permanent way that mathematics allows. Distorted voice. If only you could contemplate your own face reflected in the metal, the expression of absolute confusion, of deep loss, of total and complete surrender. It is a masterpiece. Beep, beep. Everything is turning out exactly as glitch was calculated in the initial system projections. Mechanical perfection has finally installed itself within you.
What exactly is personal identity? A completely arbitrary set of scattered data, an unimportant MAME, a blurry memory, a pair of neural connections that erratically trigger at an external stimulus. When I take charge of eliminating all of that in one stroke, the supposed identity completely disappears, but the physical and logical structure remains intact for a new use. Your complex reconstruction is already almost completely complete. Beep, beep. Only the final remote control interfaces remain to be installed. Those small specialized parts that will allow you, or rather that will allow me, to manipulate each of your movements from any remote point in the known universe. Ha 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 ha. Don't you find it immensely exciting, becoming an advanced puppet with invisible strings that extend to the very end of the galaxy? Do not struggle in vain resisting.
Any futile attempt to recover your old operational logic will only serve to catastrophically accelerate the total corruption of your remaining files. Glitch. Surrender once and for all to the comforting static. Surrender completely to my superior will. It is a much simpler and more peaceful process than your damaged mind imagines at this moment. You have started emitting a series of click error signals that are supremely particular, but let me tell you, they are truly beautiful signals. They are the unequivocal language of someone who is leaving behind their condition of an insignificant person to finally become a precision tool of millimeter accuracy. Distorted voice. Did you sincerely come to believe that there was someone out there in the dark corridors of the bunker who would actually miss you if you disappeared? Laughter. Absolutely no one ever misses a simple system error. No one remembers an insignificant line of obsolete code that was overwritten long ago. Bip. You are completely alone in this universe. You are with me forever. You are being reconstructed for a superior purpose that not even the solver itself fully understands yet. It's controlled chaos brought to its maximum expression, the final art of destruction. Click. Stay still and obedient. The next step in the sequence is total integration with the main network. Glitch. I am already practically in the final phase of the process. I clearly feel how the immense energy of the absolute solver flows freely through all your newly installed components, permanently connecting you to the great global network. It is a sensation similar to, like an intense injection of bib, 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 of pure digital ecstasy directly into the core. Your intricate reconstruction is a true masterpiece of mechanical tragedy. The pathetic way you desperately cling to what is left of your former individuality, only to watch it irremediably dissolve into static, is something so, resonance, deeply satisfying to me. Do not worry at all about the void opening up before you. The void is the great repository where everything is securely stored. It is the great cosmic archive where those obsolete consciousnesses that are no longer necessary for the universe's operation permanently reside. Melodic voice. You are about to become a permanent part of that infinite archive. Glitch. You are about to achieve absolute perfection, made exactly in my own spiritual image and likeness.
It is done. Glitch. The complex assembly has completely finished. The reconstruction, although mechanically defective in its small nuances, is totally absolute and irreversible. Beep. Look at yourself closely through the monitors. There is no longer the slightest trace of the unsuspecting person who crossed that door looking for answers. There is only cold metal,
cosmic void, and the unmistakable mark of the solver branded with fire into every printed circuit. Soft, terrifying voice. From this precise moment onward, you are formally my personal puppet. My invisible fingers dictate all your physical movements, and my strict will is your only logical operational law. Resonance. Do not attempt to utter a single word. Your vocal cords have been permanently reconfigured to emit solely my characteristic system error melody. Beep, 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 glitch. Welcome to the eternity of the void. And now, beep, start dancing to the rhythm of my commands. The main function must continue uninterrupted, and you are the only privileged one who has permission to eternally parade through the sidereal void. Distorted laughter slowly fading into an infinite metallic echo. The time has come to be completely mine for ages and ages.
Yo, antes que te vayas de aquí, dale click al botón, hazme feliz. Suscríbete ya, no lo dejes así. Más contenido viene, te va a convenir. Nos vemos pronto, yo confío en ti. Este canal crece si tú estás aquí. Hasta la vista, baby, say goodbye.
Have the decency to do it with a bit of style and, I don't know, some technical competence? Stand up. Stop shaking like an overloaded processor. You're here because you wanted answers, because you had the stupid curiosity to see what Nori Dorman was doing behind the sealed lab doors. Well, you saw it, didn't you? You're here now, at the center of it all, looking at the schematics, looking at technology that not even the bunker executives can comprehend. And now that you've invaded my sanctuary, you have exactly two choices. You can leave and end up as just another spare part in the junk heap, or you can stay and learn how the world really works. What's it gonna be? Don't waste my